Get off. But it's just another option.
I don't really remember now why I didn't choose the Grizzly. I believe I looked into that one too, but I don't know. I was really impressed with the Nova 1542 or 1524.
The Nova is a better lathe than the Grizzly lathe, so.
Yeah.
I had a Nova DVR. That was a nice lathe.
That's what I
Nova's-
wrote.
Nova's
The Nova
built
DVR.
real well.
The Nova DVR is the one that I have, and I've had it about 15 years. And the variable speed you guys were talking about earlier is 0, because the DVR can go right down to absolutely nothing. So there's no such thing as putting an unbalanced block on, because you can go as slow as just a turtle.
That was one of the reasons I got the Powermatic 2014 was it's got the variable speed and I can go right down to 0. And I had a person comment on another site. It has the remote magnetic switch, so I can put it off to the right-hand side. So I've got off switch off to the right of me in case if something goes wrong. And I gave up a horsepower when I went for my other one. But my other one would only go down to about 650 RPM, even though it was a big monster and would handle a lot of stuff, but it wouldn't go slow enough for big offs, out of balance materials, and it wouldn't go slow enough to do a coring system. So now my Powermatic will go down, like you said, Gary, goes down to 0.
Yeah, I think the Nova I was looking at was either went down to 0 or 50.
That's a good speed.
Yeah.
Hey, Ronnie,
Yeah.
I think Brenda's grandson, or whatever, needs a pedicure like you do. I mean, you see all those nails?
Yeah.
Ronnie got a
Practicing what,
pedicure
Artie?
today, folks. A pedicure.
Pedicure.
My wife treated me about, let me tell you the whole story. About 3 or 4 years ago, she talked me into going to get a pedicure. So she drugged me in. I had a rope around my neck, and she was tugging on the other end. So we get into the place, and I see this guy, and he looked normal, and he was with his wife. So I sat down a few chairs down from him, and I looked at him. I said, "Let me ask you something." I said, "Do your friends give you a hard time about coming here?" I said, "Do they throw rocks at you or anything?" And he started laughing, and he said, "Man," he says, "they all come here." He says, "And everybody likes it." And I tell you what, I went there today, and they get all that old hard dead skin off the back of your heel, and the lady rubbed my feet with oil with a hot stone. So when we left, I told my wife, I said, at nighttime, I said, when we sit down watching Andy Griffith or whatever, I said, "Man," I said, "it sure would be nice if you'd rub my feet with that oil like that." But I don't think it's gonna happen. Sure, I didn't get that far with her.
I was gonna say, good luck with that.
Yeah.
But I tell
That's
you
not
what,
what wipes are for.
I tell you what, any of you guys that haven't had one, it's not what you think. You go in there and you will go back.
Nah.
So,
Oh, boy.
and old Mr. Big Mouth, he had to put me in the corner tonight.
So have you got it lined up for you and Captain to go back?
Oh, wait.
No, I ain't inviting him to that. No. If he goes, he's gonna go with management.
No, I wouldn't stir anything up, not me.
I'm never going to admit that I had one. Oh, wait. That I get one.
I bet you if we ask Doug Rowe, he'll say he had one.
Yep.
Is Doug on the line?
Big league.
Yet? I don't see Doug in the lineup yet.
It's 6:13 right now. We have 50 people in the house.
50.
All right, now I brought 49 cups of coffee. Brenda would like mine anyhow.
Oh, who's going to do the donuts? Come on.
Want to see the donuts again? I'll be right back.
I was told by the dietitian this morning, kiss those goodbye forever,
I got shots.
That's yours.
along with a lot of other food I like too. What you got, Jason?
Look at what Jason made.
Jason, go ahead, say.
Yeah, it's shot barrel. The little shot glass.
I like that.
They're out of white oak and they're charred on the inside.
You see those grooves? Brenda's grandson can do those with his fingers.
He's going to practice wood turning with them things.
Hey, Cade,
Cade, you still in there? Or are you?
Cade was in the house.
Hello. Hi, everyone.
Hi, Kate.
Where are you? Cade, I was gonna tell you, I'm working on some wig stands. And
Okay.
I figured out that if I use a 2x8, if I cut the two squares, 6" by 6", and then take one piece off that edge, that'll give me a complete wig stand for every foot.
Yep, for sure. Yeah.
So when I run out of the material I got, I think I'm gonna start buying 2x8s and making them out of 2x8s. And if you make them that way, they cost you about $1.50 a piece.
Does that put you in the
Oh,
2x4 club twice?
I
Yeah.
think so. I think so, Doug. I got. Let me check here. Oh, look, there he is.
There he is.
That's great.
That's the founder of the 2x4 club.
Don't forget, it should be 2x8, right?
There you go. There you go.
Yeah. 2x8 club.
Hey, Trey,
Yeah.
I wanted to
Trey.
tell you, I was so impressed with your demo last week that I've been working on putting together a system that I can do that. But as cheap as I am, I'm doing it on the cheap side. So when I get it all together and I try it out and it works, then I'm gonna bring it forth and tell everybody. It looks like I can do the get a load of this, the camcorder, the SD card, the there's some type of reader card. I forgot the name of it, and the you need an adapter to go from a mini HDMI to a full size HDMI. It looks like I can do it all for a little over $100.
Well,
And
you
that's-
could use,
That's with a
could-
camcorder.
you could just use your cell phone and a mount for your cell phone and put a cable between your cell phone and the TV.
There you go. But I
Yeah.
found, y'all gonna laugh at this. I found a camcorder online for $59.95.
Now, have you got it yet?
Yeah,
Can you, let me ask a question. Can you get clean HDMI out of it?
well, I don't have
It may
the,
not-
I ordered the SD card. All of that's in the price I'm telling you. I don't have the SD card yet, and I don't have there's some type of reader card that you need to get it into your computer. So I'm waiting on that.
Okay,
But
well,
I
I'd
got-
like to know if you can get clean HDMI, and for what you're doing, it may not make any difference. But the clean HDMI means that you're seeing on the TV a clean image without any camera detail junk on it.
Okay, now explain that to me.
Okay, when you plug it into the TV and you're just running it directly from the camera to the TV, you do not get any other camera information on it, like the focus or the little focus ring in the center or anything else. All you see is a clean image and nothing else.
Well, they tell me you won't get that as long as, let me tell you what they call it. what they call that
Well,
card.
well, after you get it, just let me know.
Okay,
Just after you get it. I haven't found any cheap cameras that had clean HDMI on it.
it's
Let me
called,
give you guys a little bit of hint on that. When I put my system together, I was looking at spending about $1,000 a camera. And somebody told me if you look on eBay, you can find the Canon, anything from the 30 or the 300 series up in the Vixia line has clean HDMI out. And you can pick them up for about $100 a pop on eBay.
I wound up paying $250 for the Vixia HFR 80. And they were on sale when I bought them, but they were about $250 a piece for me to get clean HDMI.
Yeah, that's very new, but you can get that the same camera in a 30 for what we do
Yeah.
for less than $100.
Well, I started out by ordering a camera from Amazon, returned it. Then
Yeah,
I ordered a camera from eBay and returned it because I couldn't get clean HDMI out of it. And what it looks like and what I'm seeing when I look at cameras, Canon seems to have clean HDMI in the mid-range cameras. Sony does not. Sony, you have to go to high-end cameras.
you're
But
right.
Sony has remote zoom in their lower mid-range cameras, where Canon, you have to go to high-range cameras for remote zoom.
Okay, so when you're looking at the Vixia cameras, if it has an R designation, like an R30, there is no remote. But if it has an M in front of it, it will have a remote.
Okay.
the one I'm talking about has a remote. And they tell me as long as you hook it to an HD video capture card, that's another thing. If I buy an HD capture card locally, they start about $125. I was able to buy one online for $20.
Yep.
Now,
So
you said it has an HDMI mini on it to come out of it, that you just have to adapt that to bring it to the TV. What's
Well,
the
what you-
capture card for?
well, what you need to do, you come off the camera with an HDMI mini, and then it turns it to a USB. Excuse me, it turns it to a full-size HDMI.
Right.
You plug that into the HDMI capture card, and then you plug the capture card into your computer. And
Oh, okay.
and you won't have all of the other things that you were talking about on the screen.
Okay. So that goes into your computer. You're taking HDMI and plugging it into your computer, into
my
your computer, and
laptop.
not to a TV.
No, I'm plugging it into a laptop so I can do what you're doing.
Okay. So you're not going to a TV per se. You're just going to a computer.
Right.
Well, you could have done it cheaper. You could just go buy a cheap webcam and do the same thing then.
Well, I did.
You wouldn't have
You can't get any cheaper than $59.
Oh,
You
not for a
can't get a
decent web.
webcam for that anymore.
Cup of coffee costs you that much.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
beg to differ on that.
Here
At
comes
least-
that.
At least two of my webcams were like $35-40.
Yeah, all mine cost about $39 on what's that discounts.
But how
but
long
how you-
ago did you buy them?
How you
Pardon?
gonna zoom in and out on that?
I can zoom in and out of my JVCs. In fact, the last one I bought, somebody just said, when did you buy it? Was 6 months ago. It's sitting on my desk here, and it's got a zoom. It came with the remote. All of them zoom in and out, but it's getting a remote when you buy them on that discounts. What's it? eBay, yeah.
But you're not buying a JVC for $40.
I'm sorry, but that's a JVC,
$40?
$40.
You didn't tell me that the other day when we were talking about it.
You didn't ask me before you bought it. It's like you didn't invite me to go to get a pedicure. I mean, hey, it's a one-way thing.
I think
He
he
didn't
kept
get
that to
invited
himself
either.
because you threatened to steal his tools.
You're not getting invited. That's you and management's got to do that.
I could just see drinking a little coffee, getting little crumby things and all that. Yeah.
Y'all are almost not playing nice now.
We never do. Well, I tell you what, this week I must have got 20 phone calls from folks. This is no exaggeration. 20 phone calls from folks that said, how do I get into the club? And they were very hard. It was hard to explain to them that all you have to do is go to the Zoom, our website, clink, 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 and you're there. And here's the deal. If you have a turning buddy that's not with us tonight, call them. Get on the phone. Tell them, hey, I'm on with Zoom and I'm doing this and this and this. And this is how you do it. You go to worldwidewoodturners.org and you click the little button. You know, because we need more input, like how to get a pedicure.
Oh boy, I'm in for a long night.
Yeah, you should have never told me about that.
We're
Some things are
digressing.
best kept to oneself.
I know when I go over there, he's
supposed to
wearing
share things
sandals.
Between friends, but I can see that was wrong.
Hey, well, I turned my first egg this week on my analog
There you go.
duplicator. Okay.
I can't turn, but I did the same thing, Aunt Billy. I did the template and all that, and I didn't cave in to buy the printable sheets for my ink for my laser, but they're available. And Ronnie's been taking pictures of other people's work to copy, right, Ronnie?
I think it's and the thing about it, the really neat thing about it is I have a dust collector I use when I do pins, and it fits right on top of that outside area of that dust collector, so I can look straight through this transparency right onto my lathe bed. And when I'm making that shape cut, okay, it's like it's within a quarter of an inch the same size. So when I print this out, it's almost a 1-for-1. And then as soon as I finish the shape, I just flip this up out of the way.
There you go.
And I haven't, like I said, I haven't went any further than an egg, but I mean, that was my first egg, and it got me right where I needed to be. I mean, I do a lot of things, sometimes duplicating. I'll hold a product up and I'll look at the shape compared to the other one. So it made me think, y'all were talking about the transparency. I said, well, why not use the transparency to do the same thing? Look straight through the transparency, and there's no lag time. I'm looking at the tool as I'm cutting. And that was like, to me, that was going to be my biggest obstacle in that whole process of the video, was like looking at a monitor and my tools over here. I mean, this way I'm like right on top of it. You know, I'm only 3 inches from the cut with the transparency.
And how do you have it mounted on your lathe?
Yes, I have what do you call it? A dust collector box. It's a little plastic box that PSI sells. I've had for a long time, and I just put a piece of tape so it just catches the same hinge as the other one. And it fits right on the box, and it sets at this angle. It's about a 45-degree angle, and it's, I'd say,
Billy,
about
I got a question for
4
you.
inches. You know,
You might want to put a center line on that so you can watch
well, I
the
thought
alignment.
that too. That's the first thing I said. Man, I said, I'm definitely going to need a center line. Trey did it, but it's, you know, a lot of times I'll look down my lathe bed when I'm turning something that I want square, and I'll use my lathe bed to make sure that I've got it straight.
Yeah.
So that's what this concept went through my mind, is that when it's time to make sure I got this shape, all I got to do is physically line my body up to where the shape works out perfect, because I'm only worried about one side of this thing. You know, whatever you turn on one side of it, it's going to be just like the other.
No, yes, but if you don't have it on center, it will be oblong. If you were turning something like a sphere and it wasn't on center and you have it offset, it will be oblong.
Well, I understand that completely.
Okay, and any
But I
pattern you do, it will be off if it's up or down. Now you can look at it and see that you have as much on the top as you do the bottom, and then it will be centered. But the
Oh, yeah.
center line is a good reference point in there when you first start looking at it, that you're looking at it pretty straight in the direction that you want it.
It helped me out considerably just get the initial shape because I had never done an egg, you know?
Yeah.
And once you cut too much material off, then it's pretty much getting
Billy, I got a
smaller and
question
smaller.
for you. If you want to make them larger or smaller, can you move that closer or further away to change it?
No.
Is
But
that-
what I was thinking was, you know, I was just thinking when I print these out, I could print half a dozen of them, 1/4-inch increments. Because you're going to use them over and over and over and over and over, you know? But I'm just saying, it was just the concept, because I'm an electronics guy, okay? I love doing things electronic, but this just like hit me when he started talking about it. I said, man, I got to try that. My freaking dust collector box is perfect. And the perfect
Billy,
spot, you
I
know?
was gonna say that's a mighty pretty wood, but I think your chicken's got a problem.
I think so too. That is, that's some fogwood. That's some, oh man, what do you call it? Sycamore, spalted sycamore. It's pretty.
How do
I
you
have a
print up-
tendency, the first one of something that I make has a tendency to turn out really good, and then I relax, and the second or third one I screw up. that's just.
I wanted to tell everybody a little information. This week I talked to JT Tools, and they were in the process of settling everything, and they hoping that somebody's going to come forth. They got some people interested that's going to come forth and buy his patents and pick up on it and start to sell his products again. So they are working on it. So it's not a done deal as far as they not coming back. You know, they trying to settle everything. So anybody interested in that? If anybody is not familiar with what I'm saying, JT Turning Tools has a video hollowing system. And it's kind of a one of a kind, and it works very well. So
Well, thanks for following up on that, Ronnie. I appreciate it. That's good to know.
yeah,
Ronnie, is that Cutter Vision?
Is that what?
Is that Cutter Vision?
Yeah. Cutavision. Are you familiar with it?
I've seen videos of it.
Right.
I have an early version of the rig and it works really nice. I have a later version I haven't put in. But I loved the first one. I really did.
Back on subjects of those eggs for a while up in Canada. Don't know why we have a lot of people, farmers, I guess, but we sell quite a few of eggs made of different wood. But the most fun we've had with the eggs is to paint the damn things white and put them in people's fridges. That's way more fun.
Doug Miller, you going to do something for us tonight?
Yeah, buddy.
Okay, I didn't hear back from you. I was just wondering.
Yeah. We talked about it last week. I'm ready. I'm set up, ready to go.
All right, great.
You turn that
to you in a
toothpick?
little while.
Yeah.
That's a nice toothpick you got there.
Actually, they're too cheap to turn. You can't make your money back on turning them.
Doug, I got some white oak that I was trimming this week, and I got some 1.5 by 1.5 pieces, 6 inches long, and I was thinking about you, and I was gonna try turning those little wine goblets.
Oh. The only trouble with oak and those tiny goblets like that is that open grain. If you happen to catch that in that tiny, tiny stem, you're shot.
Right.
That's
So
your only
where
problem.
do you get?
Who's asking?
Oh, I was asking where can I get, like 4 or 5 by 5 white oak?
Local sawmill?
Cabinet
we
shops.
don't really have any of those.
Oh, okay. I live in Western PA.
The
These
most
are
I've been
Droplet.
able to come up with is 8/4.
Ah,
Probably
I wanna
military.
do
scope.
it.
backyard over here in New Jersey get it.
I get that kind of stuff by taking a log and running it through my bandsaw and chopping it up in squares.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, that's about it.
So
I have
instead
a-
of turning a bowl blank, I'll cut little small, I have a bunch of wood that I cut up, and if I get a bunch of bowl blanks, I do mostly ornaments and that stuff, and I just run it through the bandsaw and chop it up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
got a
wanna
little
find
sled
one
that
that's-
I actually screw the logs to for my bandsaw, and I'm able to hold it square and make some cuts.
I have a technical question if I can get wonder if I can answer for.
Yeah, well, you know what? You're on right now. Go.
I have a Jet 1642 that's probably 7 years old. And I was doing a lot of work here trying to make Christmas presents from last year because I was sick last year and couldn't do anything. But the quill on it became very loose. And so I took apart the tailstock and realized that the screw was being ground down to nothing. And it's very rough at the very back end of the thing. And I just wondered if anybody else has had that problem with the Jets. And I don't know whether I'm putting too much pressure on it or what. But I've ordered a new screw because it's just ruined it.
Are you talking about
and I
the
just
grub?
wondered if anybody else has had that problem. And
Are you talking about the screw that holds your quill locked in
yeah,
place?
that the screw that you turn the handle to move the quill forward.
Oh,
Does it
Yeah,
have?
All right,
I
I'm not
got
gonna
mine
talk bad
at.
about-
Gordon, I've got the same lathe. Gordon, can you hear me?
Go ahead.
I've got the same lathe, and if the thread at the back there on the handle, there's two little grub screws in it. If that is threading off, that means that inside you've got sawdust caught between the screw, the internal screw thread and the external screw thread on the quill itself. If you take out the two little grub screws and remove the wheel,
Yeah.
the handle from the end,
Yes.
then tap the end where the handle comes through and the whole bar will remove from the lathe.
I did that. Mhm.
Right, unscrew it, completely unscrew it and make sure them threads are clean.
There they are.
Right, and then screw it back together and put your tailstock back on.
Okay. Is there not supposed to be some kind of a brass thing that goes on between the tailstock and that screw? It would seem like
The word you're looking for is key. A square brass key that your screw sits in.
Yeah.
no, what I'm talking about is a brass washer that goes on the end of that quill screw to keep it from wearing out. It's literally wearing out the tailstock head.
I took mine out and my quill out and took files to it, and mine was doing that too. And I reshaped it and smoothed it out and got a new screw. And you're right, it does look like there should be some kind of key that sits in that slot on the quill.
Yeah.
I don't know. You know what? That's something I've never pursued. But I have the Powermatic, but it's similar. And maybe it's in
I
the
just can't
it's in the
believe
specs
they
or
factor
something.
something to go between the. If you look at the schematic, it doesn't show for like a cushion between the two, a brass thing that would wear out, because this is literally wearing out the screw, the long screw, and I checked my my tailstock, and it's almost worn its way through. It's worn that much. Now I know I put a lot of pressure on it when I'm drilling and stuff like that. And I'm wondering if I might have a buddy of mine make me some kind of a brass thing that can go back there. I just wondered if anybody else was having that problem too. That's what I.
Can you get us across to it and show us what you're talking about? I mean, I've got the same lathe. I've had the same lathe for 6 years. It runs 40 hours a week, and I've never had an issue with it.
Huh, that is.
You know, there's two little. The group screw within the handle itself will allow you to give that little bit of play at the handle at the back end of the tailstock. Is your handle too tight against your tailstock?
Well, I can't say that it is or it isn't. It gets very loose very quickly. It's wearing away. I took a magnet and put it in there and just pulled out tons of metal that is from the tailstock.
Where the handle actually sits, is the handle spinning and the
I don't know if
thread's not moving?
I don't know if you can see it if you put it on right in here. This is almost worn all the way through from the quill. The quill thread, the big shaft that goes through here with the threads on it, has a knob on the end of it, and that is worn down, and it's wearing down this right here. And so what I was looking for at the hardware store and couldn't find it was a brass thing that I could put between there and then have it rub on the brass instead of on the tailstock. I might have a guy here that I know that can machine me something, and I'm going to do that if he can, because it's going to ruin it'll be ruined if I keep doing this.
Gordon, have you talked to Jet, the technical side?
No, I haven't talked to Jet technical side. I haven't. I might give them a call and ask them what's going on. And
That's good.
I do a lot of drilling. I've been making a lot of pepper mills and salt mills and that, and so it takes a lot of drilling, and I'm just wondering if I'm overtaxing my machine or something. Although I don't think I should be.
If anything, you'd be overtaxing the bit before you're overtaxing that. Give Jet a call and talk to them, and they might shed some light on you.
Hey, Gordon.
Yeah.
I have a Jet 1224, and I've had that similar issue, which is why I'm upgrading mine.
Yeah.
Aggravated the crap out of me. Mine, it has on the inside, it has looks like a C clamp. They call it an E clamp, but there's a inside. There's a couple little grooves in there that clamp sits in. And I kept breaking the clamps. And I talked to Jet, and they have sent me more. I have replaced that thing 3 or 4 times in the last 6 months.
Well, this doesn't have anything like an E clamp or a C clamp in there.
There's no groove.
I know what you're talking about, but it doesn't have that. When you take the handle off, then you can just move the whole thing out. There's no C clamp or that. There is a little screw on the other side that you can take out that Cindy Droza says she took hers out and lost it, but she never uses it. I just have it in there as a guide to keep it from spinning, because when I'm doing when I'm making the pepper mills, I have, well, right now I've got 24 pepper mills and salt mills here that I've had to drill 3 holes, 4 holes. If you use a crush grind, you do end up with 4 holes in it. And I just thought, well, maybe I'm overtaxing it. By the way, somebody mentioned, and I don't remember whether it was this class, that when you get a Forstner bit, you ought to measure that Forstner bit to make sure that the bit is the right size, is the size it says it is. And I thought, well, that's stupid. I can't believe that it's not going to be the right size. So I started drilling holes with a Fisk wave cutter 1 1/16. And I thought, oh, something is really messed up here because my hole's a lot bigger than that. So I look at the bit and it says 1 1/16. When you measured it, I took it out and I measured it. It's 1 5/32. So it's 3/32 larger than what it says on the bit. A significant difference in your hole.
Yeah.
And it wasn't me being stupid like I thought it was, but it's, so I went back, I have all these Fisk bits. I measured every one of them and they're all perfectly, the perfect, what they say they are, except this one. So I called the guys down at, Brad down at my dealer. He said he'd go out and check all the 1 1/16 bits he has. And if he finds one that is actually 1 1/16, they'll send it to me. Well, he hasn't called me back. So maybe they're all like that. But I never would have dreamed that a bit of that an expensive bit would be that much oversized. So you really should, I guess you really should check them. And I
Sounds like you're getting more bit for your money.
Huh?
There you go.
Yeah, but you also get a much larger hole than what you were expecting too.
More than you
I was
bargained
dumb
for,
enough
huh?
to take it out. I figured it was a 1 1/16, and it wasn't.
Well, you know,
So
the
I
other,
said,
Hey, Ronnie.
the other
you
tool
send me
I
a new
found
one.
that is really bad about that are carpenter squares, because most of them are not square.
Yeah, that's a fact too.
You really need to check it, put it on a straight edge and draw a line and then flip it 180 degrees and draw
Yeah.
another line on the other side of it and make sure it's square. Because I took a bunch of them. I went to Sears one time and lined 2 of them up side by side. And at the end of it, I had an 1/8 inch gap between them, almost every one of them.
Well, and you also need to check levels and do an end for end on levels.
Oh, yeah.
It's rarely will you ever get a level that's actually level. And I used to work on Porsches and BMWs and stuff, and we used to have to buy levels that were to set up these cars for if I was building into a race car. And it was amazing how inaccurate they were. Even the electronic digital ones are not level from the factory. It's amazing to me. You can spend, some of these levels I'm talking about cost us $300 and $400 a piece. And get them and check one against another, you'd be off 0.2 of a degree. So I guess it really tells you need to check everything that you buy.
Hey, Ronnie, I got a question
2/10
for
of a
you.
degree doesn't sound like much, but when you get it in like 10, 15 foot, that's a lot.
Yeah, it's a mile,
We had a question pop up. Who asked the question?
I did, is Ronnie. that
Yeah.
Thanks,
JT
everybody.
Tools, the
Ask away.
JT Tools, is that the one that's run by Tom Steyer?
Yes, sir. He died last year, and the family is settling everything, and they trying to when they finish settling everything, they have people interested in buying the company. So hopefully they're gonna come back.
That was, they had the Gizmo hollowing tool?
Yeah, the Gizmo was the articulating arm, but he was known for the camera part of the hollowing system.
Yeah, I have one of those. Okay, I was just wondering if that was him. What happened to him?
He had been sick for quite a while, and he finally passed away.
I remember his carburetor gave out.
Yeah. He made the last SWAT meeting, And then that was what, August, and I think he passed away in December or maybe January. So,
Okay.
Do you guys want to see a follow-up to the tool discussion from last week at the end of last week?
No, no way at all. No.
All right, cool.
Go for
What do you
That's-
got, Matt?
I got a couple of things for you, Eddie, but first thing I've got is last week after the meeting officially ended, we started talking about these this is my tool that I use for hollowing things. Okay, this is 5/8 steel bar drilled out, and it's got an end mill in it, a 2-flute ball end mill in it. Looks like that. Okay, it's got a little notch in it for the grub screw. Okay, and it's got 2 flutes, and when you got the flutes up and down like this, you get a real fine cut. And as you roll the flutes like this, you start taking more of a cut, more aggressive a cut. And let me switch to this here. Take that off. So this is a goblet that I was turning here, and the way you do this, let me show you. See if I can show you the tool. 5/8 steel tool. It's about 10 inches long, and I got a fairly long handle. Okay, gives you leverage. So when I'm turning, it'll drill by itself, so I can push it in and drill to go deeper if I want. And I'm going to have to in the bottom of this goblet because I've Forstner bitted it. So, but you either move it from one side to the other. I can face across it like this, moving it across the end grain like this, or I can go down in and pull out along like this. And I can turn it up. And watch the diameter on the rim here. See how close I'm getting to the rim, how thin I can get this. So I can get this super thin, and I'm getting a finished cut with this on every cut.
Somebody check the rule book. I think that's cheating.
Absolutely. So, but I don't know if you guys can see how smooth that is, but I don't even need to sand that. So,
Okay, I'm going to put you on the spot because it looked all week and I couldn't find it. I need a part number and where you got it from.
I did put it an Amazon link in last week's thing, but last week's chat, but I will put it in there again.
Dad, I got a question for you.
Yes, sir.
How did you drill that tool steel to accept that tool?
It's just drilled straight in.
Yeah, but that's not easy to do. How'd you do it?
Well, a buddy of mine with a metal lathe, I went over there and did it. It's just
okay. Now you're talking.
Yeah, it's 5/8 steel, and this is a 3-inch bit, a 3/8 inch bit, and it's just a 3/8 inch hole, and it's a real snug fit.
Does it have to be tool steel for the shaft?
No, I mean you could use anything. It was just bar steel we had laying around, so
Probably cold rolled.
yeah, probably cold rolled. I mean, it doesn't have to be high-speed steel. It doesn't have
No,
to be
it
drill
doesn't.
stock. It could be anything.
I've
Matt,
made
can you
tools
make
similar
me
to
one?
that, and it's cold rolled that I use.
I do not have a metal lathe, so I cannot make you one.
Matt, Trey's got a couple in his hand right there. I think.
So this is, but look how long the tool handle is, and this is for the leverage, because I can be down deep inside this. Let me switch back over here. I can be down deep inside this goblet with this tool. I can be down in here with it and still get a good cut. I mean, I can show you that. Okay, I get this over 2,000 RPMs, but I can drill with this, and I can take off the side. I got debris on it, and I can run along the whole inside of this. And if I want to get an even better shearing cut, I just drop my tool rest a little bit, drop my tool handle a little bit, and bring the bit up along the side. So, but I can get all the way into the, I'm good 5 inches off of the tool rest down in here when I'm doing it. So
Matt,
that hand, yes, sir.
What size steel is that? Did you say 5/8?
This is 5/8. The bar is 5/8, and the bit I'm using is a 3/8. And I'll put it in the chat. I'll put the link to the bit in the chat. I think
And
it
what
was like
size is the end mill? The two
the end
fluted
mill is 3/8.
Okay, all right.
So how far up in there do you have to drill to be able to get that double-ended?
As far as you need to. Let me find my bit.
That's what I was just trying to figure out.
Trey's got a couple up in Spotlight
There's a
right now.
couple that I just made this week. This one's a 1/2 inch and this is a 3/8. And I just epoxied it in the shaft. I didn't even put a screw in it. I just epoxied it in. If I need to get it out, I heat it up and pull it out.
All right. Well, the reason
Can you
why
make me one?
Brenda really wants one.
I love this tool. If you can talk Trey into making it, do it.
Yeah, it looks really neat.
All it is a piece of steel and has a hole drilled in the end of it.
But that's the hard part, drilling that hole in that steel.
Stick it on your lathe.
I never had any problem drilling them.
Yeah, I was gonna say, there's really no reason you couldn't do that on the wood lathe.
Your wood lathe should be able to do it. Just stick it in the wood lathe and chuck it up in the wood lathe.
Ronnie, if you come by, Ronnie, I will do it for you.
Have you done any turning with them, Trey?
I tried a little bit with it. I'm not used to it, so I had a little problem trying to fight with it and everything else. This is the tool I generally use for most of my turning. It's a hunter cutter. If I can get it to a point you can see it, it's nothing more than a hunter cutter, little tiny cutter, and that's the one I'm used to. So
Okay.
this is the one I'm comfortable with.
Well, one of the motions that you're doing is I'm pulling it with this hand. So I'm pulling it. If I'm going across the face, I'm pulling it. Let me switch to the different camera view.
How is your bit positioned in there when you're cutting across the face?
If I've got the, let me put it there. If I've got the flute straight up and down vertically, then I am getting a really good tight shear cut. If I start rotating it like
face.
What's that?
Across the face you are.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
And if I want to take a deeper cut, then I roll more of the flute into the cut, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So I just roll the tool a little bit.
Okay.
All right.
How deep are you able to go down into that vase or into a?
I can go, this is what I do the bottoms of this goblet with. So when I am doing this and I'm starting out here on the tool rest is a good 1.5 inches from the lip of the goblet because I don't want to get the grub screw in things. But so I am down here deep, I like to make the insides of my goblets down inside the little stem detail. All right. So I am this far in, I'm a good, 5-6 inches off the tool rest. That's why I made the long handle. So I have the leverage to do that. This is one I did yesterday. Okay. Let me show it to you. So this is the one I did yesterday. Oh, there we go. So that's how deep I am inside there with this tool. Okay. I just put some finish on it. So it's a little damp in the bottom, but.
If you had a captive hollowing system, could you go deeper into a?
Sure.
Oh, not a goblet, but a
vessel.
Full thing, or would you just be looking for trouble?
I don't know. I've never done it. Okay.
Okay, well, do it tonight, and then you can tell us next week.
Well, it really doesn't have to be captive. You're not getting any torque or anything on it. You just cut with it.
Well, the further you're into the vessel, the more leverage the piece is exerting on the tool.
Yeah.
So I have, on some bad wood, I have had the thing jerk on me, and I've shredded a piece or two when I was pretty deep in there. But it was the quality of the wood. The wood was not very good either. Okay.
Well, it'll be interesting next Wednesday to see how you deep when you go in real deep.
Nothing like pressure on this.
You can be our goat. Greatest.
I've got a full weekend, guys. I don't know if I'll get to it by then.
Yeah, there is an issue on cap.
Oh, well,
there is an issue on
never
cap.
mind. I'll just.
Hey, Matt.
Yes, sir.
What's the deepest you've ever hollowed with that?
With this,
Yeah.
I've done some small vases that have been, easily been 8 inches off of the tool rest.
Okay.
Now,
So, and
the issue on captive is you have to rotate the tool to get your cut that you want. Captive, you're fixed and you can't do the rotation of your tool.
Okay. All
yeah,
right.
and Trey's right. The tool is just cutting. You're just, as long as you don't try to moose it and let the tool do the work, it really, it'll cut through it. So you just let the tool do it, and you can, every cut you're making is basically a shearing, finishing cut inside. So you're making these, you're making a really nice, smooth cut when you're doing it.
Great. Well, I tell you what, we got some stuff going on here. Last week, Trey did the video, and everybody about the video capture and copying, and probably got a dozen guys tried that. I did, Ronnie did. And we're getting a lot of sharing. Trey, if you can pop me up as host for a few moments, I have something I'd like to do before we start the demo tonight.
You're a co-host, so you should be able to do stuff, anything, but
I don't know. I can't. I want to do a chat. I mean, a poll, and I'm restricted from polls.
you got it.
All right, now I'm up. Doggone it, where is it? All that, and it's not
Are
here.
you on more than once?
No, and I can't do it. Doggone it. I didn't check. All right, here's a straightaway thing. I didn't check with the advisory team. I've been listening to people on the telephone and by emails, text, and it keeps going. And I don't mind it. That's what we're supposed to do. They're asking, have we thought about a second session for folks that can't make Wednesday evenings? We have. And I was going to ask you about about your preferences. So we'll run this poll in the near future, and that's what we're going to ask. What are your preferences? What time of the day? What day of the week? And as always, it's your club. We're going to drive it to that, drive the bus right to it. And I'm not asking for a commitment from our advisory staff and our team and our co-host team and all, because we develop those right here in this program. So we can develop another one if they choose to. But it's another chance to share information. And as I said earlier, if you know a turning buddy that's not with us, give them a call and tell them where we are. Because we have things like what Matt did just now. Trey's inserted some stuff tonight. We have fun with people. We tease about the Band-Aids on Brenda's hands and everything else. But this is a group, a gang. It's not a club. We have no hierarchy. And you never, ever permitted to say anything except we are talking wood turning. No politics, no religion, and definitely no profanity. That's how it is. And I don't know
Eddie, let me add one thing in here. We may want to consider, and I don't mind setting a time up on doing it. I may not be there all the time, but setting something up to allow people in the other parts of the world to jump in there that may be a better timeline for them, and fitting into a better time zone.
And that's what I was talking about, Trey. That's why we get the input. I mean, it's only like 3:30 in the morning for Martin. And he's still with us. Wake him up, wake him up. But that's what it's your club. It really is your club. And I'm talking to everybody out there. It is your club. We're trying to fine tune this thing to where it will work for you. And I wouldn't kid. Call your friends, tell them where we are and what we're doing. We have a lot going on, and it's going to get better and better and better. We're not married to anybody. We date everybody. So we're not married, and we don't have a manufacturer to guide the bus. We don't have membership. We don't have dues. We have no commitments. We have you. And I'm very serious about that. This is an important project to me and a lot of others. I mean, this wouldn't got started if Ronnie and I hadn't got to chatting after SWAT when I got back a year and a half ago. We talked about this, and the deal was there isn't one. So, and that's why we're going to do it. Oh, by the way, Ronnie, you still hanging out there?
Yeah, I was gonna say, when this is the first time hearing about this, y'all, so I'm kind of surprised too. But Eddie, can you imagine the doubters that we had if we tell them we coming on twice a week?
Oh, they're not believing it now that we're on once a week, and we went from a 1 hour thing that we said couldn't happen to some nights 5 and 6 hours. I know. I heard Trey said he just pulled the plug because he was falling asleep one night. It was like 2 o'clock in the morning.
You better give them their medication before you tell them this.
But we're all wood turners. We're all in this alike, and that's what we want. We did say something earlier about sharing stuff. If you have not checked out our website, and if you haven't seen the art that comes into our website in the input from people that I don't see their names on this chat, on this list, all these people, I'm talking professional turners, demonstrate on YouTube with us and also on Facebook with us. They want to be involved, and we want them involved. But isn't it nice to get all those folks together because they're sharing information that you don't have to pay for? I don't have anything against people charging for demonstrations, but if I can get it free, I'll take it first.
Eddie?
Got to remind y'all that we had some decals made by a member. Unfortunately, I can't, and I keep telling y'all this, I can't do names. They're terrible. I have to see them. Results of a brain thing. But we had some decals made, and I still have about 20 of them, and I'm getting requests by them. But hey, here's the deal. Don't email me and said, I want a decal. Email me and give me your address for the decal. Because I got a whole bunch of them sitting on the table here that I'm waiting for y'all to come get.
Hey, Eddie, I've emailed y'all twice, and included my address both times, and don't have a decal yet.
Oh, Matt, I don't remember. I'll go back.
It's okay. It's okay.
Matt, I thought I took care of you, buddy. And I got to
I was going to tell you, thank you.
Mailing.
No pressure, brother.
Thank you, Eddie. I got mine.
Good. All right. Hey, let's not all talk about it. Matt's going to feel real bad.
Eddie, I think we ought to consider when we're thinking about a second session, make sure that we don't have in conflict somebody like Martin, because I think Martin does our time. I think Martin does his about 1 o'clock in the afternoon on Wednesday. So I think we ought to stay away from that and whatever we consider, so we can
Ronnie,
attract those people too.
Ronnie, mine's before yours. You'll not interfere with mine, and if you do, I'll stop advertising yours.
Well, that's the last thing we want to do is run in competition with you, because we all need to join together and make this larger than anything that anybody's ever seen,
I'm not worried about the size. I'm worried about the quality. And that's
right.
all it is. That's why you have those rules.
Well, we have the quality, and the people want to see it, and people in foreign countries, we'd like for them to tune in.
I love the way you say foreign country. Right, Martin?
People in foreign countries, Ronnie. I'll have you know that you're in the foreign country.
I knew that'd light him up right away.
Good job, Martin. In our language.
Hey, Martin.
Hey, at least we spell stuff right.
No, what you did was mess it up.
Hey, Martin. Jimmy Clues has got this little saying when he does a demo that he comes out and says, I don't know how they ever let y'all come over here unchaperoned. You give an American an inch, he's going to take a yard.
And charge you for it. All right, let's get into the program tonight, folks. I'd like to do gallery right after our demonstration. I don't have a co-host handling gallery because Dane is out with his family on the East Coast, and he's probably tuned in listening, but we can't ask him to get involved because he's just having too much fun collecting wood. So if I can get one of the co-hosts that would take care of the gallery tonight, and that means you're looking at the chat. And if folks want to show something, you click on them and hit spotlight and they're up. And that's how we handle gallery. But first, we have Matt with us. And Matt is going to do a little demonstration for us tonight. And this is going to be something we've seen a couple of times. I'm sorry. I said that, but I didn't mean that. Matt. That's meant. Remember the name thing? Okay, it's Doug.
Miller.
I'm prepared to do demos, but you know, hey, I thought somebody else was doing it. It's
It's
cool. Eddie,
Doug.
don't worry.
Miller, Eddie.
Say again.
Doug Miller.
All right, Doug Miller's going to do it. I knew that. Doug is still with us. Even though I called him Matt.
You might have scared him away.
I might have. I don't see him on the list right now.
You want to do safety? Maybe he crashed.
Let's do safety and see if we get him back. Wait, Doug Miller's still on. Hold on, let me see something. Spotlight. There he is. Just had a minute finding him. Doug, you're supposed to be up on Spotlight, but let me check it again.
Yeah,
Spotlighted.
him, Eddie.
There you are.
Spotlight him. There you go.
There you are, Doug. You're up. Or Matt, or whatever name you are going by. Okay, go ahead, Doug.
He's got to unmute.
Unmute.
Doug, you have to unmute.
Doug, unmute. We muted everybody because we had some background sounds.
Don't call them late for supper.
What? Let me mention something before Doug really gets started. A couple of weeks ago, and I don't want to pinpoint when.
Did we lose you?
Yeah,
We lost you,
Eddie. Eddie's muted.
Yeah. Captain, you're
We
muted.
had somebody make a nasty comment. It's on the tape. But I'm going to tell you this. If we see you make that kind of comment, we're going to block you out. This is a club, and the rule is we have to be kind. And I respect everybody's work out there because every single piece is done by a member, and it's beautiful, and it's what in your heart you thought you should do. So we have a no but guarantee. We won't say but. Now, pardon me, Doug, I'm back to you again.
Okay, no problem. In fact, I'm a little surprised it took you that long to make that announcement, but that's okay. A couple of weeks ago, I shared with you all the string pull, very simple. This week, I'm going to share with you the water droplet. Can you see that okay?
Tip it up a little bit more. We're seeing the reflection. There you go, right there.
Okay, so I'm going to show you how to do this. Again, it's a very simple technique, but when you pull it off, it really comes off really neat. People just wonder in amazement how in the world you do that. So let me get to it here.
All right, we're gonna get Brenda to pay attention because she did the flowers right off the bat.
There you go. The wood is multi-purposed. We flip it over.
Didn't turn out like his though. Mine was pretty.
Keep going at it, Brenda. It'll come out. It'll come out. Just remember, pull that string straight. That's the whole key right there. I've the same piece of plywood. I sanded it, put a little bit of sanding sealer on it, and just put a base coat of a medium blue color. For this water droplet technique, you need 2 shades of the same color. I'm going to use blue. You could do black and gray. You could do brown and tan. You could do red and pink. But then you need a third color of paint. That's white. But I'm going to use blue. This is kind of a medium blue. I've got a little bit darker blue here. This particular one is a Krylon satin Oxford blue. This is what they call this one that I'm going to put on second. And then just a white. I don't know what my base blue is. I think I finished that can and threw it away. Anyway, and some water. So this has just been painted. It's dry. So it's very simple. The next trick is water. I've got a spray bottle here. I've seen people have a cup of water and just take it out with their fingers and just spritz it on there. But what you want to do is develop water drops on your paint. Having various sizes is good. It's every once in a while you can kind of concentrate and get some big ones. but you want water over the whole thing. Now the fun part. I'm going to take, let's go with the white first. And this this base coat was just sprayed on like you normally would, but this, when you do these other two colors, you need to go at a very low angle. So you're coming across, and you're going to do this all from one side. We're going to stop there with the white. Step number 2, you turn 180 degrees. But be careful with your water. If you've got big droplets on there, you don't want it running down your paint. Not at this point. Then I'm going to take my second color of blue. This is a little bit darker than my base blue. And again, at a very low angle, I'm going to spray across. And I'm just trying to shade. I'm causing shadows on the opposite side of those water drops. And I think I like it just about like that. Now here's the other trick to this whole thing. At this point, walk away. This needs several hours now. That water underneath that paint is going to dry. The paint is going to sit where it is, and I've got white coming in from one direction, the darker blue coming in from another direction. So it's a light and shadow effect that's on there. And as it dries, that water is going to drop down, and you're going to end up with the effect of the water drops on there. Once this is dried, you can come back with lacquer, polyurethane, shellac, whatever you like. First coat or two, I'd be real light with it just to make sure you're not smearing your paint or anything. But you can finish this. This piece here, this was my proof of concept piece. And I think I've got 6, 7, 8 coats of lacquer on here. The bowl that I showed you.
Doug, can you zoom
Yes,
in
sir.
on that or get it closer to the screen? It's kind of, there you go. Thank you.
Wow.
Okay. See, I'm working off my phone, so no, I can't zoom.
Okay. That'll
That's
work.
awesome.
But that shows you better.
That is cool.
Tip it down a little.
That's
Yeah.
incredible.
That is great.
It really is a neat effect. I showed you my bowl that I did 2 weeks ago that had a nice wide rim on it. Now I did the whole top, then I cut the bowl out of it. So you know, I didn't have to worry about keeping it out of the bowl. But this could be done on platters. I was told you can do this on a vase. You know, you turn a 6, 7, 8 inch vase and do it on the side of that vase. You just have to kind of do one section of it at a time. You would do your 3 colors, let it dry, turn it, do your 3 colors, let it dry, turn it. You'll probably have to do 4, 5, maybe even 6 sessions of that, which means it's going to be a long process. But like most folks have said all along, to get a good finish on anything, it just takes time. There is no great finish that's instant. So it just takes time. So at this point, I would just simply walk away from this, come back tomorrow. Hopefully, everything should have dried. I've never had it not dry in 6 hours. So I would come back in 6 hours plus, probably would come back the next afternoon or evening. Do any more turning that I needed to do, but then start doing the finishing process on top of this. And like we've said, this is what we come up with. So that's that. That's the water drop effect. And as I said, any 2 dark colors, you want them in the same family, 2 blues. You might do like a slate gray and a black. I think Blair showed us his a couple of weeks ago as well, that had, I think his was slate gray was the base color, and they used black as the shadow color. And it came out really nice. If I had done his, I would have used just a little bit more water, but he got the effect that he was looking for, and that's great. So it's all the effect that you want. Any questions?
Is it flat when you're finished? Like, or is it bumpy?
There is a texture to it. It's not totally flat, but it's not nearly as lumpy as what it is when it's wet. All that sinks down, but yet it still gives you the effect of being 3D.
Thank you.
Anything else?
So the water seeps through into the wood, or what, Doug?
No, it just evaporates.
Evaporates, okay.
Are they, can you hold up that piece you did already? Is there indentations there? Are there little bumps? Is the 3D? Oh,
It's
then
a
I got a
3D
better
effect.
view of it. I got
This
it. No,
is-
I got a better view of it there, right?
Yeah,
when
this
you
is
turn
flat
it.
right now.
Okay. I'm gonna have to try that.
Yeah, as I built up the lacquer on this, after 4 or 5 coats, I took a Scotch-Brite and knocked it back pretty severe, and then laid down three or 4 more coats of lacquer, knocked it back. If you, some of you guys are old enough, you remember the days of decoupage, where you would build up your finish on top of a paper product and sand it back. Eventually, you would be totally smooth. I could have done that with this. It's not completely smooth. I can still feel it, but it's getting close.
I know Brenda wants to do that on a Lazy Susan.
Absolutely. It'd be great on Lazy Susan.
Doug,
Yeah.
that's a great presentation, man.
Then you bet people if it's plastic or not.
It'd be a,
You know,
it'd be a
that
great
looks really
coaster.
great. I
The
like
coaster
that.
would never be dry.
Have you tried putting a contrasting color, like maybe red on that? What happens if you do?
You mean like blue and then red and white?
Yeah, exactly.
I think you could do that. I've never tried that. It would probably look pretty cool.
I like that. Thank you.
It
Hey,
might be
this is
just a
something
little
you can
bit
play
weird.
with. That's why we're here.
Absolutely. This is
Uh-huh.
not, this is like the string pull. It's not a new technique. It's just something we've not talked about in wood turning world much.
What's
No,
the
I
proper
think-
name of it, Doug?
I'm sorry,
What's the proper name of this technique?
water drop.
Doug's water drop, right?
It's
They do it on
it's a
car
tough
hoods.
technical term, you know.
Drop by itself.
We're gonna call it Dougie's Dew.
There you go.
They do it on car hoods and it looks really neat. I've watched a few YouTube videos where they did it. And
Yes.
it's, when they're done with it, it looks just like the rainwater's still on the hood.
Right, right. I could just see it on a car or motorcycle. But yeah, on wood, it does a fantastic job. And every time I've shown it to somebody, they say, well, how in the world? And I've got to go through 20 minutes of explanation. You guys have just seen it. It takes 5 minutes to do it.
Oh, it's beautiful. And I'm really, I mean, that's the kind of demonstration we're looking for. Things that are unique that we can help each other out with.
I'm
Any
gonna
other
try
questions?
it. I'm gonna try it on a wide rim bowl.
Yeah.
Where I mask off everything but just the rim. I think it'll look cool on that.
I think we ought to call it Doug's Water Fantasies.
Well, I can't, don't give me too much credit because it's not new for me. This is I've copied the idea. I got it off YouTube.
You mentioned the fact that you do it on a wide rim bowl. Wouldn't it be easier to just do the whole, wouldn't it be easier to just do the whole bowl first and then go ahead and cut your bowl after you had the rim done?
Absolutely. That's how I do it.
Okay.
I turn the back side of the bowl, turn it around. So I'm working on my front. I get it cut off smooth. Usually I do just a little bit of a drop off on that rim.
You take a leave. He said he told you all this.
Whoa, somebody mute them.
Take a leave. That's what I'm taking. You've been taking Tylenol.
Oh, hold on. I'm trying to go find them. If you,
I think they said Tylenol. He told you to take a leave. He says he told you to take a leave.
I muted everybody. Doug, can you unmute yourself and go again? If you have a conversation or TV going on in the background, you have to mute yourself, folks. Otherwise, everybody gets to share in it. I see Matt Harber signed on tonight. I believe we're going to get Matt to do the gallery for us tonight if we can. Go ahead, Doug.
I was just going to say that when I did the one that I showed you 2 weeks ago, I had the bowl, the back side of it done, reversed, cut my tops so that I had just a little bit of a roll off. It was dropping off the sides. And I took it chuck and all off of the lathe, set it right here, did my spraying. Once all of that was dry, and I think I put 2 coats of lacquer on the top just to protect that paint. I put it back on and cut the bowl out of it. And it makes it a real simple process when you do it that way. If you try to cut the bowl first and mask it off, I think you're asking for having to redo your edges and whatnot.
You're gonna have some seep, yes.
Yeah, I don't know how you can help it.
Well, I tell you, when you first showed your bowl with the rim on it, you got me. I was locked in. I had to find out how to do this.
Sure. And in fact, that bowl, Eddie, I put that on Facebook and it was sold the next day. It's in Oklahoma at this point.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
Somebody saw it, said, I want it. And it's gone.
Well, thank you, Doug. Really appreciate the demo tonight. And another
welcome.
member teaching members. And this is what it's all about, folks. And we have to be safe when we work. And our safety director was in the box a little while ago. I think he's still there. Unmute yourself, Jeffrey, and let's hear about it.
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, go.
Yeah. All right. Last week we were talking about fire and stuff and smoke alarms. Trey came up with the thing about fire blankets. I've never heard of them, but take a look. He says people have like stove fires, things like that. They have a special blanket they put over stuff to shut it off, cut off the oxygen. Somebody else I saw on Facebook, they were doing something with boiled linseed oil and got the rag clean, put it out on the concrete, let it dry. It was windy that night, and the rag came back in, it got to a bunch of leaves, started smoldering overnight. He tried doing the right thing. Other people talk about, washing out with water, stuff like that. I personally bring it out to a burn thing, and I burn anything volatile. I don't leave anything inside. But think about that, combustible spontaneous combustion. Another thing, we've talked about it before, but I know they'll bring it up again. Tie hair back, no loose clothes, roll up sleeves or short sleeves. You don't want to get sucked into a lathe because it ain't going to stop. Be safe out there. May the devil be with you. Having a bad hair day, so that's what the hat's for. Take care.
Love the hat. I really do. Doug Moore, I'm probably looking for one of those too. All right. And speaking of Doug, we are still collecting Freedom Pens, folks. Freedom Pens go to our troops. And today my wife handed me a newspaper article that I didn't save. My late sister saved. And this was Wood Turners, something to write home about. Wooden Gift, something to write home about. This is when a club I belong to did a turn-a-thon. We can't do a turn-a-thon. We can't all get together, but we can turn pens. And if you turn a pen and you want to give it to one of our groups, send it to the addresses on our website. It's just that simple. And that address goes to Doug, our first sergeant, and he will put it in the hands of a working troop. He will. And it's a great program. If you've served, you understand a note from home means something. A gift from home means a whole lot more. So put a little note in there and to our troops. That's permitted. And this is card whatever you got, but it's to keep our folks who protect our freedom. And I can't, I'll get choked up over it a little bit. I see Paul Hannaby in the audience tonight. And Paul Hannaby is one of our co-hosts. He's out of Great Britain. Paul, are you going to handle gallery for us tonight?
Yeah, I'll do that. No problem.
All right, sir. And got to mention again that if you know a friend that's one of your wood turning buddies, invite them to join us Wednesday nights for this. And above all else, check our website. I put the newsletter out this week, and it was full of photographs that y'all mailed me. Yeah, I mean, I get photographs all day long. And from the guys I'm looking at right now, send me photographs of some of your work. They're all acceptable. Every single one of you can send us a photograph for the gallery. There's no but about it. There's no jury. I don't know of the expert that we can ask if this is good or not. I haven't found that expert yet. I trust that if it's in your heart right there and your eye believes it's art, we are forced to believe it's art, and we're obligated to honor you for what you do. So send it on to us. Matt, do we have any gallery members tonight?
We do, but Paul's going to handle it. I think Brenda's the first one.
I'm sorry, I did that again, man. Paul, do we have any gallery members?
Yeah.
I got to get me a launch lot and put it on the screen.
Yeah, we've got David J from Michigan. I'm trying to find him on. There you go.
Say something, Dave. Dave.
There you go.
There you go.
There you go.
Hi, I have one item that I made this week, and it's a shaker.
Pull it back to you, sir. There you go.
Whoop.
Uh-oh.
I don't know what happened.
Somebody sharing a screen, and
Yeah.
we don't want that to happen.
Greg, can you unshare that?
All right, it's a co-host and it's sharing the screen.
Anyways, this is what I made this week.
We're all right.
Right,
There
go
you
on,
go.
move back.
It's a crush grinder, and this is the kit that it starts out to be. This is a kit that you start making it.
Okay.
It's from Woodcraft, I believe. I'm not sure, but that's how I ended up with it, and it just made it this week.
What
Yeah,
kind of
it's
wood
real
is that?
nice. Ask the question again.
Yep.
What kind of wood is that? Is that walnut?
No, it's a Coca-Cola.
Ooh, cocobolo. I love cocobolo.
That's
I've
nice.
had it laying around in the shop for 10 years, and I didn't know what to do with it, so I decided to make something out of it.
Was never scrap wood, you know that.
Yeah, right.
Thank you. Appreciate you sharing tonight. We got somebody up next with our gallery.
Yeah, we got Dean Grimes next.
If we can't
Thank
find
you.
you, start talking, folks, then we get to you.
Okay.
Start talking.
Did a natural edge bowl out of some spalted hackberry.
Ooh.
And this was sitting out on the back patio for a while. And I was actually pretty shocked I was able to keep the bark on it, but for the most part, we kept it on.
I like the mix. I like that.
So, and I put up a
pretty
video of
spalted,
that one.
Matt.
Beautiful.
What kind of finish you got on that?
It's a couple of coats of antique oil, and I put it on and wiped it off so that it kept a satin look instead of getting real glossy.
I love that wood.
Looks great, Dean.
Very nice, Dean. Very nice.
Thank you.
All right. Who's up next there?
We got Brenda Thornton up next.
Brenda.
My turn?
Yeah, you're on.
I got a vase, another vase. This was my first pressure pot piece. And I put it in acrylic, you know, and because all these little spots are holes, wormholes.
They're beautiful.
So I filled it
That
with
is nice.
acrylic. It didn't
That's
actually
cool.
turn out the way I wanted it because acrylic was supposed to be purple. When I pulled it out of the pressure pot, the purple was all at the bottom. Wow.
I think it turned out great.
Yeah.
I kind
Absolutely.
of like it. Matter of fact, one piece of it, one spot right here in the hole. You see that little black spot right there? That's an actual worm. Inside. Yeah.
That's added protein.
Yeah.
You put the extra effort into it there.
That gives the flowers some food.
I like that. Yeah.
A mummy
That's what I
worm.
got.
And Brenda, when they look that good, you don't call them a vase, you call them a vase.
A vase.
There you go.
Okay. It's graduated to a vase.
Yes, please.
Did
Thank
you,
you.
Bob, did you use a steady rest to be able to drill that deep?
No, it's only got a one, a 3 or 4 inch tube in it.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Yeah, just a little tube in it.
Who's got Matt Harber next?
Is he back
Right.
with us?
Yeah, I'm here. So last week, Eddie said he'd like to see the spiraling done on a goblet stem with the Sorby tool. So I got one of those done.
Uh-oh.
We could hear. So this is the goblet I was showing, and there's the spiraling I did with the Sorby tool. The next one I'm going to do is going to be, I used the biggest wheel I had. I'm going to do it with the smaller wheel. Now, I got this idea from a video by British turner Mike Walt. So he's got a video up that shows you how to do it. I can show you how to do this too. But basically you put the platform on. You put the platform on the tool. Okay, there's the platform. And I did my angle at 2. Mike Walt did his at 1, and he got a much tighter spiral. This is the next sized wheel down. The one I used on that goblet was the bigger wheel. So I intend to do another one, but I want to use the smaller wheel because what you do is you start it up in this part of the goblet, and you start it low, and you bring the teeth on center, and you're just cutting with the top corner of the tool as you move it down. And you don't moose it. You do it just a little bit at a time. Spend the time. Let the wheel keep indexing into the grooves in the same groove, and that's how you get it in. So
Really nice tool to work with. I've got both sizes. I'm spoiled with the little one.
yeah, on this one with the big wheel, when I got down into the narrow part of this, it wouldn't pick up the wheel to turn it. It was just too big. So the teeth were too far apart. So this is the wheel I'm going to use for the next one, which is the medium-sized wheel. But like I say, Mike Walt, WALDT, has a real good video on how he did it. So I recommend.
Walt to join in on us 1 week.
Well, it's the middle of the night for him. He doesn't have Martin's constitution.
Oh, okay. Or Paul. Paul's up in the middle of the night now too.
Yes.
Yep.
Man,
Yeah,
I bet you could
guys
do a
are
good demo on that.
You guys are Iron Men. I'd be happy to do a demo on it. It doesn't take long. Matter of fact, if you give me another,
I wrote it down. Wait a minute. Let me get the pen out.
you give me another 15 minutes, and this goblet here that I'm working on, that I did the hollowing on, will be small enough. I'll have the stem done, and I can show it then.
Matt, what kind of wood is that on the lathe?
It's black cherry. I got it out of somebody's firewood pile 2 days ago.
A nice piece.
Yeah, this is the same piece of wood that this one is. This one just has a little bit of poly on it. But it was in a guy's firewood pile, so I always check.
Thank you, Matt. That is a beautiful piece. Great for the tips too.
The only thing I ever find is pine.
Looking on the wrong firewood pile, obviously.
That's
Okay,
right.
we've got Bob Moffat next.
He gave me some black walnut too, so it was a really good firewood pile.
Bob Moffat.
Yeah. Okay. I got a piece of oak that I did, and I did the Josiah paints on it on top, and I carved some spirals here and here.
Pull it back to you, Bob. Pull it back to it. There you go.
That's it.
I don't know if you can see the paints very well.
Yeah.
Bob, is that a bird feeder?
Yeah. Bird bath.
Bird bath.
Turn it a little bit more towards the light, one way or the other, so we can see the painting a little better. There you go.
Just left to right.
There you go.
There you go.
Wow, look
That's
at that.
gorgeous.
Beautiful.
And these are the landing tracks for the birds to come in.
There you go.
Yeah, for those that don't know the inside joke, because we got some new members with us, Bob does awesome small birdhouses. And just a couple of weeks ago, he did a full-size one.
Did you
Looks
use
great,
a
Bob.
sponge? Did you use a sponge to apply your dosage on there?
Did I what?
Use a sponge to apply the dosage to get that pattern?
I put it on, and then I put the purple on first, and then the turquoise, and then green, and used my compressor to spray it around. And I didn't like it, so I took a paper towel and just dabbed it.
Okay. Thank you.
It's no decoupage method. Yes.
And this was a piece of oak that somebody threw away that they didn't like to turn oak because it wasn't any good.
It's very pretty. Very pretty.
So I said, that's fine. I'll take it.
No kidding.
Did you make
That's all I
birdhouses
got
out of
this
the
time.
scraps? Bob, did you make birdhouses out of the scraps?
I've got it set up in my scrap box. Excuse me, my small parts box.
That's it.
Did you
Thank
paint
you,
that
Bob.
before you hollowed it out?
Yeah, I turned it and then just turned it with my bow gouge.
But did you paint it before you turned it or afterwards?
Afterwards, and then I turned it a little bit bigger to cut off the edge.
I see.
My taping didn't work out quite as well as I planned. I think it would be easier just to do the whole thing and then hollow it out.
Really nice. Design opportunities, huh, Bob?
There you go.
Design opportunities.
Got to be flexible.
Thank you, Bob. Appreciate
Very
it.
nice.
Nice.
Thank
I
you.
love the work we see on our members here. And everybody's invited. All you have to do is throw it in chat. It says, I have something to show. And Paul in the United Kingdom will click on it, just like we have Andy up right now.
Yep, Andy's next.
Hey, hello guys. Just a little bit of a maple bowl. I can't show the figuring, light ain't right. But I'll take pictures of it and show it out. It's I don't know, about 6 inches. Can't turn anything bigger. I got an old Craftsman lathe about 8 inches. And this is more of that maple. And I'm trying that antique oil finish. And it's still got to do the bottom. I wish I could show the quilting and the figuring. I'll show.
There you go. Just a little bit.
Yeah. Light's all goofy.
Okay, yeah, that's better.
It don't show the figuring.
It's a pretty
Got
piece.
that old tray full of stuff. I'm just working on it slowly.
Looks good.
Okay. That's it for this week. I'll be taking pictures and putting it in when I get the bottom finished off. I only got one coat on the bottom for right now.
Can you hold it horizontally? Oh, yeah, like it.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
Yeah. It's weird. I got a little crotch figure and then I got the dark on this side. So who knows whatsoever's in the tree. Had some stains though. I wish that they were stuck in the wood, never coming out. But other than that, I'm happy with it.
We are too.
Thank you,
Beautiful work,
gentlemen.
Andy. Thank you.
And
so much.
ladies.
Okay, we've got David Leader next.
Where are we heading, Paul?
David Leader is next up.
David, go ahead, please.
I have my favorite red cedar. I put this online and got a lot of comments.
Yeah.
Oh, is that gorgeous?
One-eyed crooked smile. And folks were asking about it. They thought that this was flat, but this is actually bark. So the tree grew this way and it had a curve in it. And so I just turned it until that was exposed at that level to get my crooked smile.
It's pretty nice.
I showed that picture on Facebook of that to my wife and she loved it.
Well, she
Yeah,
could have.
that's really a neat piece.
That is awesome.
I told her it was a happy bowl.
Dave, I'm looking at your piece, and that could be a manta ray swimming at you.
It could be.
One fella said it looked like a whale.
Yeah.
I was thinking of porpoise, but yeah, that's beautiful.
You folks got to
Love
get
that.
more oxygen in your life. Come on.
What's the inside look like?
I like the dark spot in the center. That's pretty.
Just as
That's
beautiful.
gorgeous.
Man.
Yeah, this cracked overnight on the lathe. I had many hairline cracks all over it. I filled them, and it cracked again. I found out, I remember what I did wrong as I was storing it. I remember Cade said that they're supposed to be stored vertically. So if the tree is like that, and you know, you chainsaw it there and there, that it should be stored like this. So I had it stored vertically, but I had it near the roof runoff. And it was soaking wet on the inside, even though the outside was bone dry. So that's probably why it cracked.
It's a beautiful piece, Dave. I appreciate you sharing it with us tonight. That's cedar. It can be difficult to turn. Paul, what's up?
We got Scott Teague next.
Scott, you're on.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Go ahead, please.
So
You got to
I did
pull it way back towards you because you're close to the camera. There you go.
I joined the water challenge that Doug Miller and some other people are on YouTube, and this is my flask or small canteen.
It's nice. Pull it back further
Nice.
away from the camera. There you are. That's nice. What's the black?
That's actually acrylic resin.
Okay.
They turned into an actual. It actually holds about 3 cups of liquid. So it's hollow.
Nice.
Okay, and it's made of white oak and mahogany.
It's gorgeous.
That's all I have.
Good mix.
Nice.
Thank you, Scott.
That is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Very nice.
beautiful.
That's what I was asking questions about, how to turn the
Are you
opposite
sure it's for
side
water?
last week. What's that? What was the question?
Is it just water in there?
Yeah, I tried it just to see if it would hold water, and it does. That was
Thank
the
you, Scott.
question I was asking last week, how to turn the opposite side, and Matt's
Did you wind
suggestion
up
worked
turning
great.
it? How did you wind up holding it?
I went to the hardware store and bought some nylon sleeves and put a bolt through, and then I covered them with clear rubber tubing so it wouldn't scratch the piece when I was holding it.
On your long words?
I made 2-inch long for my faceplate.
Okay, all right.
Very cool.
It
Thank
worked
you,
great.
Scott.
Thanks, Matt.
You're welcome.
Very
Nice
nice.
job. That turned out great.
Yeah. Sharing info. All right, let's share some more. Who's up with the gallery tonight?
We got Jason Collett
Jason.
next.
Unmute. So let me see if I can get to where my camera is here. Flip around. I just watching YouTube videos, and I decided to do some little oak barrel whiskey shot glasses. So it's white oak, been charred on the inside. So that's what I got.
What do you have finished on it?
And it's what is it? The Parfex on the outside.
What's on the inside finish?
It's actually been torched, so it's charred on the inside.
That adds flavor to it.
Like a whiskey barrel, basically. It's white oak whiskey barrel.
How tall are they?
I think 3 inches. I know I figured out the volume on the inside, and they hold just a hair over a double shot.
That's pretty
So
nice.
they're just over 2 ounces on the inside.
Thank
So
you.
I already have probably about 4 or 5 people that want them now. But
Those are going to be very popular.
Yes, they will be.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jason. Appreciate you sharing with us tonight out of
Very
Colorado.
nice.
Oh, folks,
Real nice.
if you'd like to be included, here's a couple of things for you. You can just put your name and where you're from on our contact sheet on our website, and you will be added to our website as a member. And there's no obligation, no payment or anything else. And also, if you turn something out of 2x4 building material, you'll be entered into our 2x4 club. And the 2x4 club also has their own little card on the website. And you click on your name on next to the thing that says 2x4 club, and your name will appear on the card. What else you have, Jason? I'm sorry.
Oh, I was looking at the captive rings. That's the first one I've turned so far.
First?
So first one for a captive ring. So I was actually going to turn it into a bottle stopper.
That'd be cool.
So not bad.
Cool.
Thank you, sir. Who else is up, Paul?
Thank you.
There he is.
Next.
Doug is back.
Back again. I'm like a bad penny. I just keep coming back.
That's okay.
I got done with my water challenge piece too quickly. And so last week I was thinking, what else could I do? And so I decided to make a water drop. That's I'm not sure of the base wood. I think it might be a piece of ash. It's got a little rod in it that went through. There was a limb inclusion there. Got some rot, and that's a hole that goes all the way through. Then I made a collar that's cherry, and the very top of that is pecan. So it's about 4.5 inches or so in diameter and a little over 5 inches tall.
Okay, it's Easter time. That looks like a candy kiss from Hershey's.
Kind of, sort of.
Does it open up, Doug?
That was the original plan, but no, this one does not. This is, it's all been glued together. It has all been hollowed. It's all very thin. It's, well, not very thin. It's about 1/4 of an inch, maybe a little less. But I did that with, it was a lot. It started off as an experiment with a new hollowing tool that I just got. It was a belated Christmas present from my father. A really nice tool, does a great job. One of those carbide things that I've had carbides for a long time, but this is a new one that, and I just really like it. So anyway, that's what it started out as. But then I thought, let's turn that into some kind of a water drop. And I got to thinking about it. You know, water's not brown typically, but the acid rain that's tearing up our Smoky Mountains right now, those raindrops, if you look at them very carefully, they're brownish, where they pick up the garbage out of the air. And so that's my acid raindrop.
It looks really good, sir. Really good. Thank you,
Really
Doug.
does
Great
look good.
demo tonight. I assume we're going to see some, and it's called Water Drop by Doug. That's the official name we put on it. We're going to see some Water Drop by Doug demonstrations or exhibitions from our members in the near future. So. Clark asked me, can he submit something that one of his landlady had? She had a local mildew extension on her house using poplar. If it's building material, it's fine, Tom. We remember we have no rules. So let's see your work. Turn it out. Ronnie's been on a hot track for doing wig stands. Ronnie, where'd you get that idea at?
I think I picked it up from Cade, or there was somebody else that brought it forth, but we are going to make a challenge with that to help out the people with the Cancer Society to come forth and let everybody make wig stands.
That's a great thing to do, and we'll do a challenge. Probably line it up for May. How's that, Ronnie?
That sounds good. While we talking about this, let me hit on one other thing. Eddie and I talked about this week. This past week, I have spoken to 2 members of our club, and each one I stayed on the phone with them for about an hour discussing questions that they had about wood turning. I encourage anybody, if you don't want to bring your questions up tonight in front of everybody, and right now we have 106 people on, so you're going to get about 200 comments if you ask a question. But if you want, we will gladly go one-on-one with you to help you out. And we don't know everything, so if we don't know the answer for it, we will find out the best answer that we think we can help you out with. So remember that that's available with this club. Just
And
give
it's
us-
not just Ronnie and I that have to answer these questions. You can have, we invite everybody to be part of that. So if you'd like to share your information, you can do it. Now, we do not have a memberships list. We do not collect emails, and we don't none of that, because we're trying to play this very loosey goosey. But if you have a question and you want to talk to somebody, you know that little chat thing we have, put it in there. But will somebody please contact me about such and such, and put your name and your either email address or your telephone number. And before we all leave tonight, we should save the chat. But the chat goes to our website. You can go there and you'll see this information, and we hope to help everybody out and share information that way. And I keep saying share information because that's how this got started, and that's how it'll keep going. All right, we're going to go back to the gallery right now. I believe I can take me off the spotlight. And Paul, if we have somebody else up, sir.
Yep, we've got Terrell Brace next.
Terrell, hi, sir.
Yes, I made a chatter tool today.
All right, what's it seal?
That's a piece of Sawzall blade. And I had to use it. And I didn't make this today. I made it last week. But I made a...
Pull it back towards you, sir.
She wiped her food out.
There you go.
She is gonna. You ought to put a jacket under for that one.
Yeah.
That's gorgeous.
I didn't give her that much food in there, to be honest.
It's pretty.
little box, walnut,
No.
about 3 inches. And like Cindy Drozda did, she puts a little jewel in the, I don't think you can see it.
Pull
I
it back
put a
towards you.
rock.
Move on. Pull it way back towards you. There you go. And then if you twist your wrist, and then we'll see it. There you are.
There it is.
There it is.
That's pretty.
Epoxy, a little rock that my wife had put on her little gem stone deal.
Nice.
And I had to use the chatter tool. I don't know if you can see it or not. It's in the rim.
I can see it. Yes, sir. You got it right there.
Oh, that's nice.
Oh, yeah.
And there was a limb in that walnut there. That's it.
Thank you, Terrell. Really nice.
That is beautiful.
And let me mention here that we have the detail for those ball end mills where you can purchase them at. Wow, the one can't see my favorite place to buy those kind of things are littlemachineshop.com, and that popped up in the chat, so it's there. And Matt's end mill was cheaper, and that's on Amazon.com. And Cade Bolger out of Ontario says he's going to do a live edge wing bowl demonstration, and the details are on our chat. But right now we got to go Joaquin in Texas, Corpus City. What's up?
Well, I mess around with a little North Fork Island pine. Let's see. I don't know what.
Back to origin. There you go.
There you go. That's gorgeous.
Yeah. I'm not happy with the form, but I was wanting to see, you know, what I'd get on the top with all them little branches there.
That's a good choice.
Got some more out there experimenting with. But then Andy Phillips gave me this cherry burl, and it was a nice little bow to turn. I don't know whether, not a lot of it's showing up in this light, but anyway, it was fun to turn. So.
Okay, Andy sent that to you?
Yeah, he and I are buddies, wood turning buddies. He doesn't live far from me, and so we're we trade out wood all the time. And he gives this to me.
We do a lot of that happening in this club, and I think it's great. Thank you, Joaquin. Appreciate you showing this evening.
Yeah, very
I like that.
Thank you.
fantastic.
All right. If you want to be in on the gallery, throw your name in the on the chat and say, I got something to show, just like Bray did. He's up right now, sir.
Hey, how y'all doing this night?
All right.
Large
back
natural,
towards you.
large natural edge bow of maple.
What do you finished it with?
Sprayed it with lacquer. And down in the bottom of it, after I turned it, it had a big inclusion down there, and I filled it with coffee grounds and CA glued it. It came out pretty well.
Nice. I love the color of it, the shape.
That's pretty. Very
That thing
piece,
is
Greg.
huge.
I don't know if I've showed this one before. If I did, forgive me, but it's a piece of holly. and
It's
I
worth the second look.
Oh yeah, that's
did some
cool.
painting on it.
It is worth the second look. It's beautiful.
I love that.
I love the color mix. Really
That's
nice.
gorgeous. It is
Holly's
gorgeous.
Holly's a really good wood to turn. And what happened, the reason I ended up painting on it, when this piece dried, it had several knots on the bottom, the limbs coming out, and they cracked. So instead of just filling them, I just painted and made the limbs, and then it got me going, and then I ended up painting birds on it. Just to cover up the cracks that was in it.
That's
Really
all.
pretty. Thank you,
Excellent.
sir. Appreciate you sharing tonight. It's really nice. Chat's full of information. Folks are putting their name and address and their phone number up so we can share. Ron Vincent, you're going to be up next, sir. If you'd like to get on that, just add it to the chat. Ron's coming back. He went off to get a sandwich. I think he's back now. Ron, hello. Your turn.
Here I'm with.
We're up.
Okay, I got a couple things. I've got a pine
Right,
egg.
right there. Nice egg. What material?
Hey, honey. That is 2x4.
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 Martin just look, I just put a link I can add to my, oh.
Uh-oh, that's money on. There we go.
And also I've done the water, kind of like
Excellent.
what Doug did. I don't know if I can get it to show the spots well enough or not.
Now, did you turn the center or did you do the entire piece and then turn the center?
I did the entire piece and then turned the center afterwards, and then I put
Okay,
finish
thank
over
you.
all of it.
Is the center, is the bowl off center of the, there you go. That's what we're looking for. So
No.
you turn that off, no?
Nice.
Just light tricking with us? Yeah, I thought you had the bowl center, off-centered of the other bowl of the circumference, the outside.
No, I thought,
All right, the light messed with us a little bit, but hey, don't worry about a thing, bud. I think I can check in here and
That's awesome.
you have made the 2x4 club.
okay, thank you.
And Dave, our webmaster Dave, will add you to the list, and it'll be on our website, and that's what we're here for. Who else is up? Paul?
Got Bill Louch next.
Bill Louch.
All right. Okay. So our oldest son lives in Oslo, Norway, and in Norway there's gnomes who live in the barn who come into the house at Christmas. They're called Nisa, and this
There you go.
is a Nisa.
That's a Nisa?
That's cool. Nisse. They're bearded and their hats all have a little ball on the top. It's the first time I've ever turned a ball. Some of you think that's easy. It's not. So this is made out of maple in the bottom, birch on the top, and it's got a purple stain on the top. The beard is my wife's work. Okay, what can you say? Okay, turns out that to make one of these is exactly the same as making one of these. This is my version of a birdhouse. Some of you have seen these before.
Oh, Bob, you got competition.
Yeah, so this is a walnut on top, birch, or walnut on the bottom, birch on the top, a little hanger on it. I decided not to do a perch on them because I figured that if you drop it, that's the first thing that's going to break. And so anyway, this is hollowed and this is hollowed. And in the Nisa, they're also hollowed. The hat is hollowed and the base has got a hollow in it. And it's great fun. There you go. And a little birch nose. Good.
That's cute. That's
Very
cute.
nice. Yeah,
That's very nice.
I think this means that Bob Moffat's got to start turning some gnomes.
I tell you, I got competition now. I gotta up my game.
Thank you, Bill. Appreciate you showing tonight with us. In the inside, Bob Moffat does some beautiful Christmas birdhouses.
He does.
All right, who else we have up, Paul?
We've got Alfred Schembri next.
Hey, Alfred.
Hello there, sir.
Hi, how you doing, guys?
Hi.
Beautiful stuff tonight. Yeah, I got a bow. This is a cherry bow, and I pierced it. I don't know if you can.
Wow.
It's
Wow, Alfred, you outdid yourself on that one.
Yeah.
You're raising the bar too high for the rest of us.
Yeah, it's all pierced.
Did you use a pattern?
No,
Very nice.
It's all rough. It's all rough.
How long did that take?
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Well, it doesn't take long to do. It takes me longer because I get tired. You know, it's very hard on the eyes, and so after about 20 minutes, I have to stop because as you can see, if you go from one, you know, if you break one carving into the other one, then it's trash. You throw it out because you see a hole in there. But,
So did you wear glasses before you did this project?
Hey,
Yes,
that looks
I did.
gorgeous. That
Yeah,
is
thank-
beautiful.
The uniformity of the pattern and how it lays out to the edge is great.
Yeah, and I was lucky with this one. I was able to keep the bark on it too. It's just over 1/16 thick. And yeah, I was lucky. I was able to keep the bark. And so what I did 2 lines on the top and the bottom to frame the pattern. And then I just fill in the blanks.
Alfred, I got to ask you, that wasn't a typo a second ago when you said it's just over 1/16 of an inch thick?
Yeah. Yes.
That is amazing.
Yeah, it is. It's about just over a 16th. It's a bit thicker, maybe in the bottom. You know, and it's closer to an eighth of an inch down in the bottom. But I had to make sure, you know, as everybody knows, if you're gonna pierce, especially with thin piercing like this, the material cannot be thick. Otherwise, you will never go through. You'll burn everything. So it has to be at least around 1/16 or just over. So that's
Okay.
one. And I got something else. I turned this one. This is cherry too. And what I did with this one is actually, well, this is all pyrography here. And I did a bit, it's like a spring. It's like a spring, and then I burned it all the way down, and then I put black gesso on it. But the rest is all done by hand. All this carving here, this is all done by hand and sanding.
Wow.
And, yeah.
Wow.
So
That's an awesome piece.
That
Really,
is.
that's just a bait. I'm gonna sell my lathe off.
you have to turn it, so you need your lathe.
Super nice, Alfred. Super nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
I
spiral
can't even
effect
get
is
to a quarter
gorgeous.
inch without things singing at me.
Yeah. Well, and on this one, what I did is I wanted to darken it. You know, as we know that cherry darkens by time. So there is a process that we use. You use lye, a mixture of lye, which is drain cleaner, mixture with water, and you paint it on, and you see it there's a chemical reaction between the lye and the tannic oil in the cherry, and it darkens it right away. So this there is no stain or anything, guys, or dyes on this. It's just from that lye. It does what the ultraviolet light does in 10 years. You can do it in 5 minutes. And then it's got a few coats of polyurethane on it. But yeah, that's it. So I like challenges like this. You know, it takes a bit of time, and you know, so it's not something that I start out finish. I can start it, maybe turn it, leave it there, and you know, 2 weeks or 3 weeks later, I go and do some more, and because there is a lot to do all this here to keep this crisp edge. It has to be done all with hand sanding, and then I attach, even for down here, I attach sanding paper to like lollipop sticks, and I sand down there to get that crisp edge even in the valley, you know, so you get that effect.
Alfred, how much lye are you putting in the water?
I put about a teaspoon and about 8 ounces of water. And the lye I use is that crystal. I got it from Ace. I'm sure everybody has it. But it has to, you have to read the direction, make sure that it says pure lye on it. You know, not other cleaners. It has to be lye, because that's what reacts with the tannic oil of the cherry.
So something
Beautiful.
like Drano?
Pardon?
Something like Drano?
Well, Drano is a trademark, and no, this is a can, and it says on it 100% lye, and it's just crystals. It's like you know, rock salt. It's like it's not very fine, and you just put it in 8 ounces of water. Don't put a lot, because and then use a paintbrush. If you put a lot, what happens is it will eat the paintbrush, because that's what it's supposed to do. You put the paintbrush in there, you take it out, there is no hair on it left.
Okay, let's mention, it'll do the same thing to your fingers.
Exactly, yes. So, you know, but it's not dangerous as long as you don't put too much lye in there. But
Do you have to stop the process
ratio to
in
water?
some way?
pardon?
Do you have to stop the process for the lye to keep it reacting? Like, do you have to stop the process? Like with bleach, you have to
Well,
like put vinegar and wipe it down, or?
Yes, you can do that. I don't. Every piece I did, I never did. What I do is, because of the water, it will roughen it out a bit. So what I do is, once it's dry, I get a piece of 800 sandpaper, and I just, you know, clean it out a bit. But that's all I do with it. You can use a solution of vinegar and water, you know, like 50-50. It will stop the reaction. So,
Thank you, Alfred. Great.
You're
What's the
welcome.
ratio of lye and water?
Pardon?
I look at, what's the ratio of lye and water?
Lye and water is 1 teaspoon for 8 ounces of water.
Thank you.
You're
I
welcome.
look at Alfred's work and I see Michelangelo. I look at mine and it's a Mad Magazine type artist.
No.
Same with me.
Yeah.
Now you're dating yourself. You're dating yourself with Mad Magazine.
Well, I am an old fart, but aren't we all? Or most of us.
Okay,
except
all
for
right,
Brenda.
okay.
I think we all are.
And Cade.
Thank you, Alfred. Really appreciate that. In the chat tonight, before we go to the next gallery item, one of the members, Ronnie, said the word Drano. Drano's got other components besides dye, and sometimes the Drano has got coloring or other chemicals that are change it to a blue or a green or whatever. So lye, I have found lye in a paint section of the Ace Hardware store, not in the cleaning section, because painters use it for the same thing Alfred just did.
Yes.
Let's go to the next gallery item here, folks. And remember, everybody's invited. Let's see what we have. Cade Bolges out of Ontario, Canada. Cade, you're up, sir.
Hi, everyone. Hope all is well. This morning I turned off a whole bunch of live vegetables, so I'll show a couple at a time. These two are apple, and they are turned to 1/8 of an inch thick.
We can see light through one of both of them.
Yep, you can see light through them.
I don't know how you get them that thin. I get 1/4 inch and they explode.
Here. So those two are 1/8. And these two, this one here is a 1/16.
You read the paper through that.
Here's another one. That's a 1/16 made out of crab apple.
That's nice, Kate.
They're gorgeous.
And then I turned a few natural edge wing bowls. So this one here is black locust, spalted black locust. Under a black light, this will shine like a fluorescent sign.
Wow.
And it's turned to 1/8 of an inch. It's also known as a plain propeller bowl. So watch your hands. Here's another one out of black locust.
Okay, let's go to record. Brenda, don't try this.
Yes.
Also, airplane propeller.
But that is so beautiful, Eddie.
Yeah, we'll get you to keep your fingers.
I gotta try it.
That's a
Yeah,
lot
they're
of air
fun.
coming by you.
I mean, they're an adrenaline rush. So watch your hands, watch your fingers, wear a face shield because the bark can come off. On these two, the bark came off. It was cut down in the summer. And I didn't get to it till probably a year later. This one here is poplar. And this one is turned to a 1/16 of an inch wall thickness. And then I saved the best for last, the best figure, the best color wood. Here's one out of walnut.
Oh, wow. That's gorgeous.
Love that walnut.
Cade, do you use a lot of CA glue on that thin of bark edges to hang them on?
No, I didn't use any CA glue at all. So the walnut and the poplar were cut down in the winter. And the apple was actually cut down just before COVID. So actually in the winter months, I just sort of got around to turning it now. It's been in bags until now. And the black locust was cut down last summer. I have an uncle with a woodlot or an acreage, and he's got honey locust, walnut, black locust, maple, all kinds of stuff on there. So I haven't been able to really find and get a hold of black locust, but now I sort of have a family in to get some black locust. So
there you go.
That's nice.
Good looking stuff, Kate. Great looking.
Beautiful, absolutely
Very nice.
beautiful.
Most of these pieces are turned green, right? So the
Wait.
wood's still wet.
No, these were not turned green.
Okay.
The walnut was not turned green. The tulip poplar wasn't totally green, but it was 6 months later, so I wasn't having a shower. So it still had some moisture in it, but it wasn't totally wet. And the same with the apple. The apple was slightly green, but again, it stood upright the same way as it grew, so it drained out the end grain. And I allow it to drain for at least about 6 months to 8 months, just so I'm not having a shower. And it doesn't move and warp and crack and shift nearly as much, especially with fruit woods.
Does it make a difference on when the tree is cut for how the bark adheres to the wood?
Yes, yeah.
Time of year.
If you get your live edge material in the winter months, if you have a winter season, the winter months would be in Canada, in between October and sort of March. And then our summer months would be sort of March to the end of September. or end of October, depending where you are in Canada. So you want to get it in the winter months between October and the end of February, because the sap isn't running freely through the tree. So as the tree dries, the bark adheres to that cambium layer of the tree. If you get it in the summer, the first thing that separates from the tree is the bark, because the sap is free running through the tree. Of course, you can do sort of some things to try and save the bark. You can turn it early before that bark starts to separate if you get the wood in the summer. But if you do that, you're going to be having a shower while you turn it. And after you turn it, you're going to want to put a little insurance premium along that cambium layer. So you could take CA glue, a thin CA glue, or like a medium CA glue, depending on the wood and how open grain or how open grain the bark is. But I usually use a thin or a very thin CA, because then it seeps into the bark and the cambium layer and it adheres it all together. But I mean, that's sort of just like an insurance premium. It still can for fall off or move if that wood was cut in the summer, but it's less likely to do that in the winter. You don't even really need to glue it or stabilize it with super glue sometimes. If it's still do just sort of an insurance premium, a little extra security.
Thank you, Kate. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks.
Hey, Captain, for those who are interested, I brought the can of, okay, here we go. Oh, the other way. This is the lye that I was talking about.
Hold on. All right.
This is the lye. You see, it does say 100%. It does say 100% lye on it. It's a drain cleaner, and it's 100% lye. I forgot to mention that when you're using this, please make sure that you add it to the water. You put the water first, the 8 ounces, and then you add this to the water, not the other way around, because it will react too fast otherwise.
Okay.
That's it.
Remember your PPE, folks, because if when you're handling this lye, you want to protect your eyes, your hands, your face. So a face shield, but let's put a belt on with the suspenders. If you're doing this, let's wear the face shield and the eyewear, if you would, please.
Definitely.
Who's up next, Paul?
We got Brendan Michael next.
Oh, you paused.
So I did a demo with the Woodturners Retreat, and I just saw Michael Clarkson left, and I was like, darn it. But they did, Jeff Romong did this style bowl on Saturday. Sorry, going the wrong way. This is a piece of Texas 70 I got from Joaquin. I'm sitting down here with him, so I don't say
That's
I trade.
gorgeous.
He gives me everything I use. My kids think that looks like a dolphin for the little epoxy. There was a branch sticking out there, so a big hole, and it was giving me a hard time. I couldn't turn smoothly after that. But
Looks like a dolphin on the side.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
That's a beautiful piece.
Good old Texas ebony. It's very, very heavy, hard wood, but comes out gorgeous. So
that is
Totally
beautiful.
awesome, Brenda.
And I did a little spiral on the arm, but
Brenda, what type of finish do you have on there?
so I did some shellac, a couple coats of shellac really fast on it, and then I put the Yorkshire grit, and that polished it up really quick. It's a pretty oily wood, I think. And then I put the high gloss Hampshire sheen on it.
It's pretty.
That is
Pretty
beautiful.
piece of wood.
Welcome to the club. We got another Brenda.
I was wondering, I was like, man, that's pretty unusual to have 2 Brendas in a room.
Yeah. And that's the first thing I noticed too was the blue dolphin.
Yeah,
Love
it is a
that.
blue dolphin.
Yeah, my neighbor pointed
Love
that
it.
out. I was like, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Fitting for Corpus Christi, Texas, since we're right on the water.
Right. Thank you. Appreciate
Nice
you
job.
sharing, Brenda.
Thank you.
Who we got up next, Paul?
We've got Dan Rizal next.
Don, go ahead, please.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
So I've got to, I show little things, because I'm still learning, and I decided I was going to make a baby rattle. So I made up 3 blanks, and I failed on 2 of them. So they're just little noise makers that have little cuts in them now. Because then after last week's demo with Trey, I thought, hey, that would be really cool, and I could really line it out with that. So I've ordered everything. Hopefully have that set up next week. But in the meantime, I had attended Cade's demo that he did 2 weeks ago on learning how to use a skew. And so I bought a skew and I watched the video again and I said, okay, I'm ready to try it. So I tried it with the skew and I now have a successful baby rattle. I've got maple on the outside and oak on the inside. I don't know if you can hear it there, but it's got BBs on the inside. And then at the same time, I thought, okay, I'm still learning, and of course, learning on the skew. And I wanted to try something else. So I started doing some of the seam rippers that people make. So, trying different designs with the seam rippers, several different types of woods there. But that was all done with the skew. And I never quite believed how you could get down to almost a finish with the skew already. And Cade showed that so well. And I want to really thank you, Cade. Because I barely had to touch any sandpaper on these. And they are smooth as as can be. I wish I could show the smoothness of them. But they look great.
Very well.
Some
Very
zebra
nice.
wood on that one. I think that one was a walnut.
Pull it back towards you. There you go.
Oh,
Great
yeah.
work.
Those are
And
very
I think
You
these are
can
the,
shine on them from the burnish of the tool running across the wood. That's great.
yeah, and I haven't, I'm gonna try something a little bigger with it, Kate. I still, I still got to make my wig stand, and I think it's gonna be great to use the skew on. But I figured I've got probably 500 pin blanks, so I'd use some pin blanks to try it out on first. So, but I just wanted to say thank you again to Cade and thank you to Trey, because I'm gonna, because after I blew out my first 2 rattle blanks, I thought, man, that camera system would be perfect for that. And I still think it will be. And so I'm gonna, like I said, I've got a camera ordered. It'll be here on Friday, is what Amazon says. So, yeah, I'm gonna have that set up, and I think that's gonna work great for that. And my negative is that this club costs me a lot of money, but it makes me a lot of fun.
It really does. It makes a great day. All right. Thank you, Dan.
And I thank
Appreciate
everybody
you
for
sharing.
it too. Appreciate it.
All right. And folks, if you hadn't seen any of Cade's work, he does some videos. He's Cade Bolger, and he's in Canada, and he's got some YouTube stuff. And you should tune in. In our chat tonight, we have details about Cade and how you can attend one of his sessions. But right now, we're going to go to Randall Smith out of Pennsylvania. Hi, Randall.
Hi, Eddie. And this is my 4 carbide tool. It has one of your carbide bits on it that I got many years ago.
All right.
I sharpen it as necessary. And if you take a good look at it, you'll see why I call it a 4 tool. And yes, I do have a metal lathe. This started out as a square bar, and I turned the part of it that's the handle down round. I've used it so much that the pieces are starting to flake off of the handle.
Good.
You're gonna have to take it down to the pro shop and get it rehandled.
I did it myself.
All right. Thank you,
That's
Randall.
it.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Very nice.
Instead of going to somebody else for a gallery tonight, let me introduce you to Paul Hannaby out of the United Kingdom, who's got a piece to show tonight. And oh, there he is.
I've got this one here, which I did in a demo last week. It's laburnum with a pewter rim. So I cast the pewter for the top and the bottom, and the wood's laburnum.
Nice.
You cast that pewter?
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
So
That
how
is
did you then
Beautiful.
fit the wood, like turn tenons for the pewter to go into the wood or on top of the wood? How
Yeah,
did you
there's a tenon cut in the wood and a slot cut in the pewter, so the two key together.
Great, thanks.
That's awesome.
That's wow.
That is really great.
I've got another one as well. This one I finished today. That
Ooh.
one's it's
Whoa,
got
wow.
a base of gesso which is textured, and then acrylic airbrush paints on the top. I'm not quite sure how much the texture gets picked up, but there's a bit of texture there. It's natural wood on the inside. This is made out of ash.
Very pretty.
Nice.
Real
Great
pretty.
color scheme. Great.
Nice.
But
That is pretty.
I do these in all sorts of different colors. Yeah, this is just one of them.
How did you texture that?
It's a very complicated, expensive technique. You need a piece of kitchen towel, you put it on the wet gesso, and then you peel it off, and you keep doing that until it looks right.
Oh,
I love it.
What brand kitchen towel do you use?
Pick one without teddy bears on it, otherwise you get the patterns with the teddy bears on.
None without teddy bears.
But yeah, and any you like, really. The less sort of defined pattern, the better, really. All you want is a sort of a stipple texture. So I try to pick a brand that's just fairly sort of random sort of pattern. Like I said, ones without teddy bears. Unless you particularly want teddy bears, but you can also do that texturing with bubble wrap or cling film or all sorts of things, really. A bit of sponge, so yeah, whatever you want, really. And each will give you a slightly different effect. But I've got a couple of textures I do with a stiff brush, and this one I do with a bit of kitchen towel or something like that. And I've also got a couple of other tools I use to make textures with. You could use like a tooth comb or something like that. There's one I do with an afro comb, and you just pull that across it, and you make more of a defined sort of lines in it with that. And you use the gesso as the sort of the texture medium. Maybe I'll do a demo on it one of these days.
Thank you, Paul. It's beautiful work. I really do like it.
Gesso is like paint or what?
Say again?
Gesso, is it Gesso?
No, Gesso. It's used by artists for sealing canvases and as a base coat for canvas. So look at your artist shops and art supplies.
Okay, thanks.
The one I use is an acrylic gesso because I use acrylic paints, and that's all compatible then, so no problems with it. But you can get it in white or black or possibly other colors, and that was obviously a white gesso, but you can also use a black gesso. And if you use those iridescent paints and the reaction paints, those work well on the black gesso.
Okay. For us colonials, that would be Michael's or Hobby Lobby.
Hey, Paul, the paint they used on the outside, is that acrylic or is it milk paint?
It's acrylic, yes.
Oh, okay.
I use acrylic airbrush paints on those and spray
Airbrush.
it on.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Great detail tonight. Paul, do we have anybody else up for gallery?
I think that's everybody.
All right. That's it. Remember, this is open to anybody. Just put your name in the chat and say, I have something I like to show, and we'll get on to you. We have an awesome website. I'm going to jump right into it. We have an awesome website and a great website director, Dave Rhodes, handles the website. And if there's information dealing with this club, which you can join for free, and everybody's welcome. If there's information for the club that you'd like to share, you can put it on our website just by emailing go to our website and there's a contact sheet, like all the other websites have, And that's when you put it in that. Now, if you've got a photograph you want to put on a website, the same place goes there. If you got one you want to put into our newsletter, which I produce monthly, because I've pretty much got it on a routine now, you email it to me at our club email address, which is worldwidewoodturners@gmail.com. Worldwide Woodturners, nothing special about it, at gmail.com, and we'll use it. And we use everybody's. There's nobody can overrule what you send in. Nobody can judge you or determine if it's worthwhile. If it's your work, we will go to it. Bill
Eddie, I
Rudd
did have-
does his
Eddie-
texturing with his gouge. Bill, I had one of those. It was loose in the handle, and everything I did had a spiral. Everything. It made for some beautiful work, but you're looking for slick, it wasn't going to be there. Questions, comments, anything? We're open right now. It's about 33 minutes after the hour. We are traditionally we like to end this at 9 o'clock. Traditions
Eddie,
may be
Eddie-
broken. If you continue to chat, we continue to chat.
Eddie,
I
I
think
did
you
post,
can get
I
that.
did go to the chat forum, Eddie, and put my name down to show something, but I'm from BC, Canada, and I gather somehow the name got skipped, but that's okay.
You got something to show?
Yeah, I had something to show. I put my name in the list. I might have gone in too early.
Well, let's do it right now. It's
Okay.
remember the rules
is it
don't exist here.
Is it okay to give a plug to people who do demonstrations?
Yes.
Okay, great. We had Roberto Ferrero out of Chicago do a demonstration. I belong to two guilds in British Columbia. I'm very fortunate. They're a half an hour each side of me. So we bring in demonstrators for doing IRDs and that. And he was doing texturing and doing all kinds of fancy stuff to wall hangers and platters and that sort of thing. And I also had Pat Carroll, who is from Ireland, and he was doing demos and that sort of thing. We're taking him in, and he was doing all kinds of round ball piercing on outside texture as well. And the last one was Michael Macho. Michael Macho, when he came up in person, he was showing a demo with the Sorby texturing tool. None of us could get it. I mean, it was really hard to do. So I actually did buy the tool and stayed with frustration. But this piece here was the outside rim, and I can hold it. Can you see that? It was a complete pattern. The whole pattern was laid out with compasses to get all of these carving marks. They were all done freehand with a 4-inch disc grinder to create the circle mark or the carved marks around it while this was solid. And then the round little balls all through, they were all different sizes, was to do with Pat Carroll, where he had showed us how to do the texturing. So we did the texturing between each one of the grooves, which was kind of neat. And that had to do with the perfect timing for the Mars landing. So we thought that was perfect time for there. And what Michael Macho taught us, that the texturing tool was not only good for doing the outside of a bowl or an outside rim of a bowl, he actually showed us how to do it on end grain and that sort of thing. And I think Barbara showed it a bit earlier, but the inside back, completely able to put flower patterns and that sort of thing on the end of the piece instead of just doing it on the edge. So that's a really nice piece of figured maple. We're very fortunate in BC, Canada. We have unlimited amount of wood. And so this was one that basically compliments of taking 3 different people's classes that all got into one piece. And I thought that was kind of cool. And the last one I did was, I like natural wood. Obviously that bowl had to stay natural wood. And so told with Joanne Savon, she's out of Edmonton, and she was all about coloring. And there's 5 different colors on this thing. It's got wire. You can see in the light, maybe all the different colors shining through, but I didn't want it to bleed through. The very first one I did, end grain, just popped right through the inside. So I contacted her after we took the class with her, and I said, hey, why is my colors bleeding right through the inside and screwing up the inside? I want natural wood on the inside. And so she sat back and told me I had to completely seal the piece twice, 2 coats of sealer. And I said, well, how does the alcohol dye soak in to something that's sealed? And she said, it will. You just have to try it. So a lot of stuff that doesn't make sense to you, I just followed what they did. And so this piece here was wire brushed to get the grain down. It had 5 different colors of alcohol dye applied, did not bleed through anywhere to the inside. And then I did liming wax on the outside as a final finish to it. So that was just one of the, that's the 2 pieces I had to show.
Very nice.
I like the
Nice.
spiraling on the plate is awesome. Very detailed, very exact.
It actually, believe it or not, I can't tell you the amount of hours and the kind of language that's coming out of my workshop for about 2-3 days. I actually saw him do it in person. So I had to convince myself that by the tool's capable, I'm not. So I had to spend hours and hours and hours just sitting there attempting every different angle to come up with that. I could do the band around the outside. Most people are able to do that, but he was able to do it on the inside of a bowl or the outside of bottom of a bowl. And I could not get that for a long time until I just persisted and persisted. And finally a smile came across my face. And once you've got it, believe it or not, it's all to do with pressure, the right amount of pressure and the right holding position to stop it from skating. It's all has to do with the amount of pressure and to hold that tool in the right way. I had a death grip on that thing for quite a while and I still wasn't having any success. So I've actually popped pieces off the chuck by pushing too darn hard. So it's got a good learning curve, put it that way.
Great. Well, Gary, really appreciate you sharing that with us tonight. And folks, the floor is open. If you want to show something, you can put it in the chat or you can just say, hey, I want to show something. And we had our safety presentation by Jeff, our safety director.
Hey, Eddie.
Say again.
Eddie, I got a piece I wanted to show. Actually, I got 2 pieces I wanted to show.
You have to talk a little bit more. Hold on.
I
That's
got
got a
2
spiral to
pieces
show us
I
as
wanted
well.
to show.
Somehow
You haven't
I-
got me up yet?
Not yet, sir.
I got a
What
piece
do you
of
think?
lilac here from
There he is.
that I had turned, and I did it up with a walnut ball on top, and I put a little bit of nylon laces around it, and this is the piece I've done. It's lilac, and it's got an octagon base on it and a walnut ball. And I've got another little piece here that I've done.
Ooh.
It's got a little bit of wings to it. So it's got a little bit of size, and it's English walnut.
Wow.
Very nice.
I'll do a double
Very
wow.
nice.
Wow.
That is
Cool.
nice. Gorgeous piece.
Man.
Good, great turning, but gorgeous piece of wood.
Heck
Yeah,
yeah.
That
thing
would kill me. This is about a 1/4 inch thick.
Watch your fingers.
And what do you have for finish?
That's
7 layers of tung oil.
That is some beautiful work, Don.
That is awesome.
Very nice.
Don's out of Ontario. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you sharing with us tonight.
That's my
this is
first time to
open
ever
floor
show
right
anything.
now, 20 minutes before the hour. Who's up?
I
You guys
believe
wanna see
Gordon's
this?
got a couple of pieces for us.
Who's
You guys
that?
wanna s-
Gordon? Gordon Gilmore, I believe.
Do you guys want to see that spiraling put into the goblet stem?
Yeah, well, let us.
We do.
We do. Yes, sir, we do.
All right. Well, let me know when you want me to do that.
Gordon, you got something to show?
Yeah, you gotta, I'm not sure whether I want to.
All right. I can't find.
Yeah.
There we
I got
go.
'em.
Keep going, Gordon.
This is a piece I started before I got sick last year. And the rim out here is less than a 16th of an inch here, a little wider here because of the shape of the piece that I started with. But it's very thin. I still haven't got it totally finished yet. But when it is, the chief executive officer has said that she wants it as a bowl for the counter for bananas and stuff.
Oh, goodness.
This is another piece a guy gave me and said, here, make something out of this. It was all rotted on the one side. I ended up doing it. But lately I've been catching up with the stuff I was supposed to get done for Christmas, but I was too sick to do. I've been making pepper mills and salt mills. I'll have a total of 18 sets of these when I get done. They're all different types of wood that I've made sleds to, so that I can cut these. I didn't realize how much trouble they were going to be to make. But once you get them glued up, then it's just, they're going to be the crush grind. And they turned out, I like the idea of having like the Purple Heart as being the centers and the top and bottom. This one was the first one I tried, and I didn't put Purple Heart here and that. I like the other ones a lot better. They're a lot harder to do, but they turn out, I think they look nicer than that.
Well, those look very nice.
This one is the first one that I ever did, and it's ready to go. And it'll have also a mate to it too. But I like the crush grind. I think that they really make a nicer thing. I have one set that's totally done, and the chief executive officer claimed that one. So she's got that in the house. I'm out in the shop and that. So
Don't argue with the boss. She knows what's right.
well, you know, she allows me to be out here doing this.
What?
So,
Got to keep the boss happy.
well,
right.
yeah, well,
Thank you,
somebody
Gordon.
has to.
Gordon, what's the size of that big one? That first one you showed, that big one. How
This
big
one?
is the size of that?
Oh, I buy the 10-inch crush grind mechanism, okay? But this, I should have brought it in, but actually all this, I actually make out of an 18-inch blank. I make the blanks 18 inches long so that I have an identical top and bottom so that they match up and that. And also the salt shaker that is like Nick Cook makes, there'll be a salt shaker that goes with it that'll be identical as far as the pattern goes.
Right.
But you have to have a big enough, 18 inches was about as big a sled as I could handle in that. So, and making the sled was probably the hardest part. What is it, Jason Swanson, or he lives over in Kentucky now, came and did a demo at our club. And when he got done, he said, here, make something out of this, and gave me one. And I was intrigued. I thought they looked really cool. And everything should match up when I get all done. Probably be another month before I can get them all done.
Well, we want to see more, Gordon. Thank you so much. I got to go to the first sergeant. He's out there hanging out in Arizona someplace, and he said he's got something to show. Hey, Sarge.
Hey, I'm here. Coming in late, but so I'm showing y'all something I did not make. I received. Is David Edwards on tonight?
I don't see his name up.
Yes, I am.
There he is.
Well, David Edwards, wow, look at all these pens he sent me to give out. Now, I'm going to brag about you a little bit here, David. So David can clearly make an absolutely gorgeous, I would call that something like in the shape that we normally see, I guess. But I mean, the work that he's done, the finish that's on there, beautiful. But wait, apparently David says, normal's not good enough. I don't know how he did this. Here we go. David, feel free to explain that.
That's diamond wood.
Yeah.
The wood comes like that.
Yeah, that's it comes in blank. It comes in blanks that way, and I got it several years ago, so I just had blanks laying around, so I just made them.
Oh, he just made them. No big deal. Absolutely gorgeous. Well, hold on. David's not done, because David, how did you make that one?
That
well,
is good work.
like I said, I think that was one of the a blank that I got somewhere. I don't know where, but it like I said, I didn't have no use for them, so I just started making pens.
Well, let me tell you, there's like 20 something pens here, I think.
Yes, there is.
They all fall between gorgeous and holy cow, that is amazing. How did you make that? So, David, thank you, thank you, thank you.
You're welcome.
I've got quite the batch put together now from all you wood turners out there. I really appreciate it. There is time to get me a few more before this unit is about to step off that I'm trying to collect them for. And David, I really appreciate you putting your card in every one of them. And
Thank
I
you.
am gonna hold a few aside and try and get them off to Navy personnel, because I understand David did serve in the Navy from 1959 to 1962. Those
Yes,
were
I
not
did.
great years to be in the military. So thank you, thank you, thank you for your service. The guys in my generation get it really good because of the stuff that you all went through in your generation. Sorry about that, Eddie.
All right. Thank you, Sarge. Appreciate that. Remember, folks, if you've got something for the Freedom Pens, the address to mail them to directly to is on our website. If you mail them directly to Sarge, Doug, he's out in Arizona. He'll be glad to pass them on to our active troops. That's what we do. I'd like to pop back down to Matt. He said he would do a demonstration for us and show us a little about using that spiral tool. It's about 12 minutes, 40 hour. And Matt, you're on you're live.
All
Live
right.
and
Well,
direct.
thank you. All right. So I'm going to shift to the overhead view. This is the goblet that I was turning earlier with the tool. This is my Sorby spiraling tool. I've got the platform on it. There's an indicator, a line on the middle of the tool, and I've got it set to the hash mark number 2. Now I want to show that I've got it tilted. If this is normal, I've got it, or flat, I've got it tilted up this direction. And the reason I've got it tilted up that direction is I'm going to start it on this side, up on this part of the goblet here, and run it down to this part of the goblet. All right. I'm going to run about 500 RPMs. I've got my tool rest set low. I'm only going to cut with the top of the teeth here, where the bevel meets the teeth. And I'm going to start below the piece and raise the tool into the wood to make it start cutting. I'm only going to go about 500 RPMs, and I'm not going to put a lot of pressure on. I want the tool to do the work. All right. Any questions so far?
Not from this set.
All right. So I'll turn it on.
Watch this, folks. You're going to love this.
All right, so and I want to engage the teeth. I'm only cutting with the top of the teeth. I'm being real careful about where I start this. So I'm going to start it there, and I'm going to let it start running here, and then I'm going to slowly move it down the length of the goblet until I get here, and we're going to see what we get. So there you go. Can you guys see that?
Yes.
No, not very well. Let me see if I can zoom in on it here. Anyway, I've got some real good spirals in there, and the platform keeps it on the, whoops, that's not it. There we go. So the spirals start here where I started to cut, and they go all the way down. I got a little cleanup and sanding to do here where the transition was, but it lays them out real nice and even. Now on the other goblet, what I did earlier, I used the bigger wheel, and then I went in, let me back that off a bit. Then I went in with my Dremel and a diamond bit and cleaned it up a bit, cleaned up the grooves a little bit because it was a little cut up here. But anyway, that's the difference between the big wheel and the medium-sized wheel.
Matt,
Yes, sir.
can you come across that again, or is that a one-time deal?
No, I can. The tool is supposed to re-engage, supposed to re-pick up the thing, the grooves, and re-engage. So when I get going here, I've got my platform flat. I'm letting it find it. And then
Ronnie, the
coming ac-
key is to go in from below. You can't go straight in. You have to lift up.
Right. So, and it re-engaged in the same grooves.
Wow. That's great.
Yeah, it looks really cool. Anyway, but that's how that works. So
The beauty of this is if you're unhappy, you can scrape it out and start again.
yeah, I left the stem on this one a little thicker than I did the last one, and it seems to have worked a little better. And then you can take, I mean, the hardest part about doing grooves in anything or doing a barley twist or a spiral and anything like this is getting the grooves laid out evenly. Once you've got them, you know, carved out a little bit, making them deeper or cleaning them up is just carving, you know, which is not that hard compared to the laying out. So anyway, there you go.
Matt out of Oregon's asking, what tool is that? It is a Sorby Spiral Master. Is that right? That
I
description?
don't think the word master is in it. I think it's the Sorby spiraling and texturing tool.
Okay.
The one that I got comes with 3 spiraling wheels and a texturing wheel.
They come in 2 different sizes I know of.
Yep. Yep. I've
Yeah.
got the small one too.
I got a question.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can you, you say you're just barely touching that, right?
Yep. Not a lot of pressure.
Right, okay, but to get it deeper, do you have to use the tool afterwards, or can you use that, push a little harder, you know, and make it deeper?
You can. I don't want to push too hard on this goblet because the stem is not that thick and I could easily crack it. So I don't want to, I want the tool to do the work. Okay. I want the teeth to do the carving and I want the tool to do the work. So you can go over it multiple times. Once the teeth are in the groove, they will stay in the groove and stay indexed in the grooves the whole time. So if you want to, I've taught a spiraling class. Chris Parker and I from Great Britain taught a spiraling class. And one of the things that I teach in a spiraling class is count to 5 where you are. So don't just put it on there and say, okay, it's good. Say 1 in your head, go 1, 2, say it out loud. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then start moving if you're going to move it. You know, leave it on a little bit longer than you think and just let the tool do the cutting. The longer you leave it on, the deeper it'll get.
Okay.
Matt, can you move it back and forth?
Yes, yes. The teeth stay in the grooves.
Right.
That's the beauty of it, is the teeth stay in the grooves.
And you don't have to worry about texturing. Once you've done it a few times, indexing. Once you've done it a few times, you know how deep you wish to go by what you're looking at. And the 500 RPMs, that's why it's down that slow, so you can see what's happening to the spirals.
Yeah, I mean, the gentleman who was here talking a little bit earlier about using the spiraling tools, it does take a little bit of practice and a little bit of a touch, and you'll find it when you just play around with it a little bit and find it. But the short answer is if you go too fast and you push too hard, you're just going to tear up the wood. So, the tool knows what it's supposed to do.
Yeah.
Just
And
let
this
it
is
do
where,
it.
this is where one of those things called scrap wood comes into use. We don't have any, but that's where you chuck up something and play with it before you do it to your art and learn. That same thing with the water drop stuff.
Yep. So so there's flat. And if you want tighter grooves, then you set it to, like the 1 index. If you want wider grooves, you set it to the 3 index. This worked a lot better than the other one did. So yeah, I'm going to stick with this wheel. This was more spiraling.
Do you always use the platform? I know when we had the class with Michael Macho showing us, he took the platform off immediately and everything we did was freehand. I noticed you're using the platform to make sure. On a spiral like that, I would think you'd almost have to have the platform, don't you?
Yeah, if you want regular spirals, you use the platform. I almost never, whenever I'm texturing with the tool, I don't leave the platform on either. I freehand it because I like to roll the tool as I move it to get a varied pattern that changes. So yeah, whenever I'm texturing with the tool, which I do a lot more than I do these spirals, this was just done because Eddie said he'd like to see it last weekend. And I said, I could do that.
Thank you.
Yep. Dan Roselle asked about this arm here. I made this arm. This is plywood. There was some YouTube videos on it. Write me on Facebook and I'll send you the videos. So this is like 3rd generation. I made a couple for my lights and stuff, and it's all just plywood and 1/4" by 20 screws and little knobs I made so I can move it around.
Ronnie, take a look at that. We're gonna need one of those in your shop real soon.
So they're a lot like, if you've seen those articulated lamps.
I know, I'm looking at that hard.
There's some real good videos out there on YouTube. Just look for articulating arm. There's a couple guys who did them for cameras. This one guy made a real robust one. I made that for my light. That was the first one I did. But they're a lot of fun to make because they bloody work.
Hey, Captain.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
This is Alfred. To add on, if you can spotlight me, I'd like to add on to what Matt was saying.
Yes, sir.
This is something that is done with the spiraling tool too. Actually, I used it the same way, but I don't use a platform in this one because this is a one-time deal. If you're gonna do like what Matt was doing, you have to use a platform because he's using multiple times and then you will not find, it will crisscross on each other. But this is a box that I made. Again, this is spiral, and if I can get it, oh, there you go.
That's good, right there.
Yeah. And and then I painted it.
Yeah, like Alfred says, if you want the spirals consistent, then you use the arm. If you're just going to make one pass, then you can get away with not using the platform. But if you want to come back and do it over again, and you want them consistent, it's real hard to get the angle right if you don't use the platform.
Yeah, and the reason why I didn't use the platform on this one is because naturally it's turning like this, and instead of, I held it pretty close. I had it maybe about between 10 and 11 o'clock facing that way. So otherwise it would have been more flat on here, would have been more flat instead of being, it would have been more like this instead of like that. So the angle that you see on the spirals here is gonna show you, how you tilt your angle.
Beautiful work, Alfred. Thank you.
Oh, thanks.
That was going to lend right back to that part we said you need to practice. And
Eddie, I've got a piece that
It's all in practice. It's all practice. And you have, if you use the spiraling tool a lot, you have to sharpen it. And the way to sharpen, you sharpen the top of the tool. You don't sharpen inside the teeth, but you sharpen with a stone, a diamond stone. You just sharpen the top only.
Bevel. You sharpen the bevel.
You sharpen the bevel only. Yes.
Right.
Yeah. So it's got this. I don't know if you all can see that, but it's got this bevel. You sharpen the bevel here.
Okay, John Brown, did you jump in with something, sir?
Yes, I do. I have a spiraling piece that I did a number of years ago, and I'd used the tool quite a bit. But here's a lamp that I did with it. I don't know whether you can see it well with the light I've got or not.
It shows nice.
Yes, it does.
And I did texturing on the base. I don't know whether
That's a lot of
you can see
texture
it in there or not. I did it with
Yes,
the
sir.
same tool. But the lamp, but the wood part probably on there's a foot long. And
real good.
Yeah,
Did
that's
you use-
beautiful.
Did you use the platform on that, John, or not?
no, I didn't. No.
Nice work.
It is.
Yeah. I had it done for a number of years, and I just finished it when I moved into my apartment here. It was in the shop, and I thought, well, I'm going to take that with me. And the wood is beech. It was wood that I'd picked up on a construction site that they was making no posts out of for banisters. It was kind of expensive of houses, but it was beech wood. So, but I thought since we were into the spiraling there a little bit, I would show you that.
Very pretty. Thank you.
Yep, you're quite welcome.
I got
Yeah,
one
well,
other
we-
slight. I got one other slight thing to show. I just wanted to show Brenda that I've got a Band-Aid today. So,
Brenda,
There
you
you
see
go.
that?
I hacked up my finger doing something that both myself and Trey said don't do. So with the Ford.
Oh my goodness.
Maybe we should start a Band-Aid club.
Hey, Matt, while you're sitting there and you're all set
Yeah.
up and everything else, you were asked about sharpening them. basically you're holding it by hand, but do you ever just put it against a piece of wood to spin it and hold a diamond file against it while it spins, so you don't need to, kind of turn it by hand or whatever?
Yeah, yeah, oh yeah, yeah. I use a card. I use a honing card. I keep a honing card in my little thing on the top of the. Yeah, I mean, I don't usually. They don't require a lot of sharpening, but I guess it depends on the wood you're using. I haven't really sharpened them much, but if I think they're not really cutting as I want them to do, then I'll just touch it up with the honing card. And
yeah, that's exactly how I sharpen it. I put it against a piece of wood that's turning, and just put the honing on top, and it just sharpens itself, as it's going. But this is a practice piece. This is talking about the spirals. Okay, this is my practice piece, how I started doing that. And you just keep going and going and going, and it gets deeper and deeper and deeper. I did not use the platform for this one. In fact, it's off my tool. I never use it. But it's true, as soon as it finds the angle, you have to make sure you keep that angle, because if you start twisting it, you're gonna crisscross from one line to the other one, and you're gonna mess it up. But
Nick Agar did a really good video for Sorby years ago. It's on YouTube somewhere. Just look up Nick Agar Sorby spiraling, and you'll see the video he did. He colors it things. There's a ton. There's in 10 minutes there's a wealth of ideas. And if I ever want to get some specific texture or something, I go review that video and take a look at it and see what he's done, and then try to replicate it.
Yeah, in fact, you can see here on this side, this is where I started, light, and then so that was just one. I went through one time, and on here I kept repeating it, going through until I got that. Actually, I went all the way down into the gullet of the cutter, so you got the full form of the spiral. So it's just practice, like anything else. You just practice, and finally say, "Oh, that's all there is to it."
I belong to 2 clubs, like I said, and there's over 150 members, and I can't tell you the amount of people that own the Sorby texturing tool that's in a drawer because it wouldn't do what they wanted to do.
Yeah.
And since we've had classes, a lot of people are saying, "I got to get that tool out and give it another shot," because they say there is a learning curve. At least a lot of them did not have that fun with it when they first started.
Yeah, one thing I'm still having problem with, I cannot do that flower in the center. Having problems, mastering it, that I'll do it every time I want to do it, not when it wants to do it. So I still have to practice on that.
Yeah, that takes some work, and it doesn't hurt to practice on a extra piece of wood you've got laying around. Sometimes if I want to do something, I try to find another piece of wood and chuck it up and have a go or two and see if I can't get the angle right, and then go to the piece itself and put it on.
Yeah, I tried that on a scrap piece. It worked fine, and then I went to put it on something that I want to save, and I messed it up.
Well, I'm glad Kim's not here tonight. Y'all using that term scrap wood. Kim says there's no scrap wood. All right, I got to mention that the texturing tool, we got a couple of links in our chat tonight. Before you leave tonight, go to chat, lower right-hand corner, 3 little dots in a square, and you click on it and say save chat, and you'll have all this information. And cheating a little bit, David Leader wants to buy a Sorby texturing tool. So all you guys, all of Gary's friends that put them back in the drawer and couldn't use them, Dave Leader is looking to buy it. Put it in the chat and he'll get to it. All right. It's after 9 o'clock, folks. And we normally formally tie it up at 9 o'clock. I got to look here and see. I don't think we have Trey online. Trey, are you still online?
I know that Woodcraft and Craft Supplies and Rockler all sell the Sorby texturing tool.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. And because we're not promoting any particular dealer or vendor or anything else. That's against our rules, because if you say you're going to do it with something, if there's an optional tool, we want to know about that optional tool, because we want to be fair to everybody. Next week, we have another good demonstration lined up. I got to check with the demonstrator, make sure he's on tap and that I get his name right, pardon me. But we're going to talk next week about it. Remind you again, we have an awesome website, worldwidewoodturners.org. And you can always email us on that website or through our email address, which is worldwidewoodturners@gmail.com. And if you'd like to get into the chat and put your number in for somebody to contact you or for you to contact somebody, feel free. We will not be doing the membership list. Will not be a formal list of what who's in, who's out. It's not fair. That's not why we're here. And if you'd like to post that you have a YouTube website or YouTube site that you work with or you post your information on, we're fine with that. All you need to do is email that information to Dave Rhodes, our webmaster, our magnificent webmaster. I'll pump him up there right there. He does a great job. And he will put it on there. In fact, today I was cruising through my iPad, just like most of you guys do. I was cruising through my iPad and I saw that last week's demonstration by Trey is already on YouTube. So it's up there. All right. If we can help you with anything else tonight, jump in. Trey, if you're going to continue on, we'll switch the host back to you if you'd like.
I think I'm gonna call it a night tonight. Eddie, there's one thing. I'm gonna be on travel next week. I should be able to start it, but if I don't get it and start it, you have the information. And Johnny Hughes also does. So.
Okay, great. All right, we'll do that.
So.
With that,
I'm going up north for a week, but if I get a chance, I'll go ahead and at least get the meeting started and just turn it over to one of y'all. But.
All right, great. Thank you, Trey. Trey is our base host for this. Trey graciously allowed us to expand our audience or our membership to over 100 by he's paying the bill and he's invited us to come on and use the system. So we do that, and this is all volunteers. Remember, no one gets paid for this because we're all wood turners and we all share information. With that, it's Wednesday, March 31st. It's time to wrap it up, folks. We've been here about 3 hours talking wood turning, and I invite you back next Wednesday night. Join us again. Invite your friends. Bring the donuts. Somebody brings donuts. All right. Until next week, I'm Captain Eddie Castellan. You take care, be good, and above all else, be safe.
Good night, everybody.
Night, everybody.
Night, everybody.
Thanks, everyone. Great night. Great meeting.
Night, everyone. Take care.
Everybody do a water drop this week.
That just
One
looks
drop
like
by
fun.
Dave.